It's a Friday, and we know what that means. You got to start the show off one particular way, freestyling. And so, of course, here we go.
Come on, man. Go for it, dude.
It's Friday. Friday. Day.
SDH AM, John, here, you there. Thanks for coming on as you always do. And the show itself today is kind of, I'm not going to say inverted. It's just we're going long. We know this because of yesterday and what you might have missed in talking about the U.S. Soccer National Training Center up and running. It's a great day for soccer, and it was a great day for Atlanta and the Southeast and everything that's growing here. So if there's anything that you guys want to talk about concerning that, that's on the table here early. Rundown for guests. We are efforting our traditional 9:30s, and we'll see if they get to drop by because there is something that needs to be discussed. And if it is one guest in particular, we have to discuss it. And it showed up on social media, so we'll see if they're not conquering the planet when they can join us at 9:30, and that's our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring. 10 o'clock, Ramses Sandoval is going to join us, another first-timer. And so we're efforting a lot of first-timers this year when it comes to our 10 o'clock visits with our friends from AppleTV. 10:30, since we didn't have a morning show yesterday, Nico Moreno is joining us at 10:30. And if our buddy Nino Torres has recovered from his match last night with his club, had a 1-0 lead in the Copa and surrendered 2 goals, losing 2-1. There's a lot to talk about there as well, not from his match necessarily, but from what happened in another match, Independiente Medellin and Flamengo. And it was, to put it bluntly, a mess and a half. We'll get into that at some point here in the show and talk about the Copas and what happened last night. Let's just say that there were fans that in multiple matches were very, very excited and were using flammable objects in end zones. And it caused a lot of problems. So we got to get into that. Got to get into the Premier League because one club is having to address an issue that no club wishes that they would ever have to sort out. We got protests from what happened yesterday by Ultras when you lose. We've got good news out of Union Omaha this morning and out of Omaha, Nebraska, and local government. Thoughts on probably what's going to be another league switching their schedule to be in line with the calendar of their parent league. So that's another note. And then an update on Jonathan Davies as well. So there's plenty to get into this morning here across the board. We've got to get into Major League Soccer. We've got to get into the referees. We've got to get into juice boxes. We've got to get your weekend squared away and get you ready for the Premier League and all the other news, notes, and things that are going to be up and around. Morning, David. So, yes, we are back at 9:05. We're going along this morning. That much I do know. Noon, to give you an idea, it's another edition of Red Clay. So it'll be Red Clay Soccer Report presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. That's going to be at noon. And it is one day of the semifinals done for the most part. 2 matches from the girls' side have rolled over to today. And the boys' semifinals are today. We, meaning the network, will be in 2 places at the same time. It will be Jason and Maddie in Dalton. And they will be ready to go for their match up at Chapel Harmon. And that will be a matchup involving, on the Quad A side, Marist going to Dalton. Marist, the 3 seed out of Region 5, goes to perennial power Dalton. And that one is on the network at 7 o'clock. They'll be on a little early for that one at Chapel Harmon up in Dalton. Quad A boys, left-hand side of the bracket. Will be in Decatur. Johns Creek, the number 1 team in the country, is going to be visiting the Decatur Bulldogs, and that is going to be at 7:30 on the network. I'll come on a little early on the Deuce. And so, once again, go to soccerdownhere.net, hit the Listen tab. It goes into our player, and then you get to pick your match. Basically, you'll see the red live bug going on SDH 1 and SDH 2. You get to choose. Don't choose. Get multiple devices up and running. Sit there and run them both. So 7 o'clock, it is Marist at Dalton in Quad A. And then at 7:30, it's Johns Creek at Decatur in 5A. I'll be there for that one. Maddie and Jason are in Dalton for the Quad A. We'll keep you posted on all the scores and everything. And, you know, knowing me, I may even do a live drop during halftime of that game since I figured out how to do it. Technology lost that one to me. So we might even have live look-ins or listen-ins on Dalton and Marist from Johns Creek and Decatur. But at noon, we're catching up with a bunch of coaches, including Kelly Bowler from Johns Creek. We caught up with Alex Zimmerman from East Hall as they get ready for their trip. I think they've already left or they're going to be leaving soon to go to Dexter as they get ready to take on West Lawrence. So we have on tape Alex Zimmerman from East Hall, Kelly Bowler live at noon, bat and leadoff from Johns Creek. 12:30, Rob Brunell's going to join us from Irwin County as they have advanced to the final. And it was a big win for them over number 1 ranked Screven County. And that was a big win for them. So they advance into the final on the left-hand side of the bracket. And I think they are waiting for their opponent, if I remember correctly. And it is, yes, they're waiting for Tryon and Portal in Tryon today. That was one of the 2 matches that did not happen yesterday on the girls' side. So Irwin County knocks off Screven because the matchup, as both of them were team ones, the match was in Osceola yesterday. So Irwin County down 1-0 comes back to win 2-1. Irwin County left-hand side of the bracket, Class A D2 girls. They're going to take on the winner of Tryon and Portal. And we catch up with Rob Brunell at 12:30. We'll have your brackets in between, have all your stories in between. We'll have Jason's breakdown of the boys' side and what he thought about was going to happen on the girls' side. And then Justin Brantley from Islands is going to join us at 1 o'clock. And that'll be going long in that one. So we're going long here in the morning show this morning. We're going long in Red Clay Friday. And we're starting to get our guests geared up for Red Clay on Monday and Tuesday. But just so you know, Red Clay Friday is going to go long at noon. SDH AM is going to go long just because we got to catch up on stuff and trying to figure out who the guests are and all that kind of stuff. We'll get it all squared away. But we're going long this morning because we got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into the weekend and anything else on the table. Pars, welcome back. Started a new job. Congratulations on the new gig. And busy at times, but it's always great to have you in here. And glad that you got your schedule sorted out, and glad that we're a part of it. So thanks a lot for hanging in with us and being a part of things as you've always have been as one of our OGs. So, all right, let me get into opening kickoff. Brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Starting your day with the most important stories in the game, the right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community. Showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend with beans made from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy-bodied. Notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff powered by Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. All right, so like I said, there's plenty to get into from news and notes and in and around and all that kind of stuff. So this might be kind of headline-ish when it comes to everything that is going on today. So we will rock and roll, and we will go from there. And we'll get this all squared away. All right. So this morning, once again, we got into the we got into the news and notes and everything yesterday with what happened, and big day yesterday for U.S. soccer. Big day yesterday for U.S. soccer. So here's the rundown of everything that is in the building. 123 acres, 17 outdoor facilities, 2 indoor, full court for futsal and power soccer, which, by the way, it was gorgeous. 20 locker rooms, 19 meeting rooms, high-performance center, medical facilities, ballroom, 400 workstations. All 27 of U.S. Soccer's national teams are going to train there. Senior women and men to beach and power, wheelchair-accessible locker rooms equipped with charging portals. Every piece of American soccer. And when you think about it literally, you are going to have this piece of America, and I'm just going to say that, of American athletics and insight and whatever you want to call it, it is here in this particular part of the planet. Here is a part of SDH HQ. So it is awe-inspiring to see and to have someone like an Arthur Blank who dropped, he had basically 5 minutes into his conversation with Cindy Parlow-Cone, he was in. $50 million of the $250 million price tag came from Mr. Blank. And so you have that now in Fayette County. Jason was on the afternoon show yesterday and on SDH PM breaking down all of the just what it means to him, because it was a place where, growing up, he's driving those roads, playing on those fields and in those cities and in those areas. And Maddie was doing the same thing. And so now you're going to have extended national team coaches. One of them walked up to Emma Hayes yesterday and basically said, oh, this is so cool. Now I get to, have a conversation with you. You can yell across the room and or be in a hallway and have a conversation with Emma Hayes. And, when you have JT Batson breaking down and there was a bet that JT Batson had with several other personnel there with U.S. Soccer. They were wondering if he was going to get through his speech and not break down. Didn't happen. So whoever had that bet that JT was going to break down, they won the bet. And JT was understandably emotional about it. I mean, here's a kid who came from Arsenal Augusta. And so he has seen what it's been like in the Eastern Frontier. And he knows what it's been like to get to this point. He knows what it means to this footprint. He knows what it means to this part of the United States. Cindy Parlow-Cone played at Herndon Stadium on the campus of Morris Brown 20-plus years ago. She knows what it means with her history and having seen sellout crowds at Herndon chasing after titles on the WUSA, going from there to now Mercedes-Benz Stadium and what you're seeing with Mercedes-Benz and how it's integral to what we're seeing when it comes to the present, really, and the future of U.S. soccer. To have that moment yesterday where you have this, and you have Dan Cathy from Chick-fil-A, and he's trading conversation with Arthur Blank, and Dan Cathy did bring coupons. I didn't get one. Arthur figured that Dan Cathy was going to have a jacket full of coupons for free Chick-fil-A sandwiches. He was right. Dan held up a hand and he had a handful of coupons. I didn't get one. But, when you have those individuals that are as tied into the community and to business here in the Southeast and in Atlanta as those two individuals are, to have this kind of a moment yesterday where it is a sprawling campus. I mean, like I said, 113 acres. It is a sprawling campus. And you have the opportunity for all of these different age groups and national teams to rub elbows and share advice and have conversations with one another. And it's not a closed off kind of a thing. It's open hallways and it's available for open conversation and workstations. And there's no cubicles where you have the walls that separate folks. You do have meeting rooms and such, but it's not walled off space. It's not cube farm space on the second floor. If you want to sit and have workstations, and they also do have the hermetically sealed glass enclosed workstations and places where you can have privacy and make phone calls and all those kinds of things too. But to have this actually come to fruition, and for those of us who have been there at the various stages where you're putting beams in and you sign your name and your beam is a part of history there on the campus, and then you go from that and the beams laying down and the terracing of all the surfaces to what we saw yesterday and the National Training Center. You're ready and you're sitting there and you're going, all right, let's get to work. And to be able to have that here, especially with World Cup coming, 2031 on the horizon, all of these different championships coming down the line, and now you have a home. You had a house in Chicago, now you have a home. where you can go and park and you can go in. You've got a separate entrance and you can do your thing and you can come in and it's your place. And now to take advantage of it. And Emma Hayes was even discussing certain things that she'd like to see added over time. And they made perfect sense from a women's soccer perspective. And from, it literally was commonsensical stuff that she's like, well, we need to be adding this, and this. And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And she was discussing the idea of, okay, it's great to, you want to have things that you can add on to it instead of having this end game and then sitting there and going, well, we should instead of should have this, and this. It's like, okay, we've got this, and then we can be in a position to add this, and this. But to see Emma Hayes and JT Batson and Cindy Parlow-Cone and Mr. Blank and Josh Blank and everyone there, and Dan Cathy and reps from Coke and everything, like I said, $250 million complex. Basically, a little over $2 million an acre, if you want to break it down that way. So all these different things, and now it's time to get to work. So it was a great day yesterday. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Yeah. So it was very, very cool. So, and if they did, well, to be honest, Ricky, and morning, Abby, when you walk in, it is more of you could not go to the locker rooms. That was one of the things that you were not allowed to do, was go to the locker rooms. And, when you go into the building itself, you're looking at office space and conference rooms and workstations, and the indoor facility was where most of the interviews and the ribbon cutting was. The indoor facility, absolute length and absolute length. They're not the fields aren't in use yet. But literally it would be, you walk into the building, they're not going to get you, I think the locker rooms were still trying to be, it probably had some work that they still had to do, but they wouldn't let you go into the locker rooms. And you got to go to the indoor facility. You got to go into the main foyer and business offices and locker rooms, and business offices and meeting rooms and workstations. You got to see on the 2 floors, and you got to see the power football and the futsal gym, and that training surface, which was amazing. And so basically it was a lot of fields and the indoor facility and the meeting rooms and the workspace. So, you could probably golf cart it, and you could probably work your way through and go down and take a peek at all the things, and you probably could get some touring going on, but probably the big thing would be to look at the indoor facility. And I know that some folks in South Georgia who participate in FAATBALL in places like Thomasville and Valdosta, they're like, yep, that's what you needed. And you needed that here too, obviously, because of the summer, and it gives you something to do, so you're not wasting time not having practice because of what happens here in the summer afternoons. But I could definitely sense some high school American football coaches coming from South Georgia going over and looking at that particular indoor facility that we were in yesterday and go, yep, seen those. But yeah, state-of-the-art stuff. And now it's time to get to work. And absolutely, yeah, after no, I don't, Abby, I don't know if they were in use. I don't know if they were in use yet. I don't know if any team has had any time in the facility yet. This was like the grand opening and the ribbon cutting and the groundbreaking of introducing it to everybody else. So I don't think anyone has been there yet to spend any time in locker rooms or anything. So this was like the grand opening of the whole thing. So I don't think there's been any time that anyone has been into these locker rooms. But I think the locker rooms were the one thing for us that was off limits. So, maybe it's, high profile stuff that they don't want us to look at yet. And maybe it's just respecting player space. I don't know. But no, I think Ricky, to your point, they might be doing tours after the World Cup for revenue. But yeah, literally, I'm trying to think of parking. Yeah, you'd probably have to do it on limited bases because of parking. And it might have to be like every if you did this, it'd have to be because of parking. You'd probably have to do it limited numbers, limited hours. You'd have to stagger them. So the folks that are in for the tour would have to leave to open up those parking spaces, those kinds of things. I don't know if this is something that they've considered or not, but parking and availability for anybody that would want to come in to do a tour, if that was something to be available. Like I said, I think you'd have to stagger it. It could not be something that's just done like, parking. You'd have to empty out the lot a little bit to bring folks in for those spaces, and it'd have to be a bit of a back and forth. It couldn't be just staggered every hour on the hour kinds of things. But that's you bring in some revenue that way. But yeah, you take the golf cart, have them go down to the fields, come back up. Hey, here's the thing, all this stuff that's been invested. And now let's go inside. And literally, it's like you go in, meeting rooms this way, indoor facility over here. Second floor has more meeting rooms and your workstations and your hermetically sealed rooms for meetings and catching up with family or what have you. And then the locker rooms would be further back. So let's get to work. Absolutely, let's get to work on this. Really looking forward to it. So very, very cool that we were there yesterday to see this piece of really American, the next level of American sports and effort to succeed, to see that happen. But no, very, very cool stuff there. And you're sitting there and you're going, all right, let's get to work. Let's do this. And it's like, all right, let's get to work. Let's see what's going on here. So very, very cool stuff yesterday, and very, very humbled and privileged to be there for a moment like this that impacts a lot of people a lot of different ways. And like I said, the natives and the locals who get to sit there and look at it and go, hey, look at this. This is here with us. We grew up here. We've seen the sport get to this point. This is now a part of us. And you get to show off Atlanta area and Southeast. And, hey, this is here. This is a part of what the Southeast has to say when it comes to, and then what Atlanta has to say about the sport and where it's going. So it's another reinforcement of the South, the Southeast, Atlanta, and its relationship with a growing sport. So very, very cool stuff there. That is Opening Kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Once again, starting your day with the most important stories in the game. Right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala. Heavy bodied, notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate, and a rich world-class finish. Opening Kickoff brought to you by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Okay. News notes and things. Like I said, we had teams make it to Europa Conference League finals and Europa League finals yesterday. Crystal Palace, Rayo Vallecano, that's going to be your final in Conference League. And then in Europa League, it was the opportunity for Freiburg to hang on, and they're going to take on Aston Villa. Aston Villa is a favorite, pretty big favorite, and that is going to be in 12 days' time for Europa League. So Villa favored against Freiburg. Freiburg, by the way, is a plus 400. Villa having no problems in their matchup. Freiburg hanging on with Braga 4-3. And so that is the Europa League finals that were decided yesterday. Had a lot of stuff going on in the Copas yesterday. And like I said, with what was going on in multiple matches, you had Junior and their match with flares, smoke bombs, all the things. They had the intermission was so long that they basically didn't leave the field. The intermission, in trying to get everything to where the smoke was where people could actually see. Took so long that it basically wiped out the halftime break, and they just were like, okay, smoke settled, goes away. All right, second, boom, go. And so that was interesting. We'll get into that in a bit. Okay. Now, I got to ask this dude a couple different things because there's something that popped up on social media, on the social medias, and it's something that we do talk about. We do talk about this, and I am certainly envious of what he gets to do because he is a mogul. You know, he is our MIT. But there were cameras that were available at a recent outing where it's another subject that we talk about here. I've got to find out who actually allowed cameras in this particular place and find out about what in the wide world of sports happened and if the camera person made it out alive. Michael Parkhurst.
Good morning, John.
Michael Parkhurst and Brad Gazan and golf. I am frightened.
It was a good time. It was a good time. As you can see, I aptly named myself today.
Mm-hmm. See, BG, better golfer than BG. See,
Yeah.
BG, BG. I see this.
It's
And
right.
this was my first question for you, and I'm glad that you fixed that with the lower third. Is that who was in fact the better golfer, and so it is you, and so this is good to know. This is good information.
For sure. The video made it seem like it was closer than it was.
I was going to ask that too.
And to be honest, John, so I did hit a house, but I will say it was probably one of the best drives I've ever had.
Really?
Swear.
How? I mean, so
it was a huge dog leg left.
Okay, so you're right. You're a righty, correct?
I'm a righty.
Okay,
so huge dog leg left.
All right,
and
so
all I'm seeing is like, and it's elevated.
Okay.
So I don't know. I've got no equipment. I've got no idea how far it is to the turn where it turns left.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just assuming I can probably hit driver here.
Okay.
So I go first and I smash my driver.
Oh, fantastic.
Straight. And then I realize, oh, well, I probably should have hit a 4-iron or a 5-iron. Oh, God. So then Brad obviously goes and changes his club, and so he gets the right distance. But, yeah, I was actually smashed that right where I wanted to.
Well, and what we always like to remind folks is that when you have a domicile that is next to a golf course, there are two words that every golfer must know: assumed risk. And that is the legal term for, dude, you built the house here. You get the consequences of your actions by having said house next to this fairway, not knowing that everybody's going to be, Tiger Woods and stripe it down the middle or know what the heck's going on. So if you have this fantastic drive, like you say that you do, is there video evidence of this, or did the camera person?
Surely there is. They were videoing everything. So.
Okay. So when this video comes out of you absolutely smashing this drive and hitting this house, that particular individual whose house you hit, it was their choice to have that house attached to that particular part of the course. Yes, you're going to do the neighborly thing. If you smash a window or something, you're not going to duck your head or maybe point at Brad and sit there and go, he did it.
Well, I definitely would have done that.
Yeah, see that, Gazan did it. But we do the neighborly thing. You hit a ball, it goes into a yard. It's like, sorry, my bad. It goes off a house, makes the dent. It was yours. Then you say, yeah, okay, send me the bill. I'll pay for it. But assumed risk is like, dude, you were the one that wanted that house right there. So that is your issue.
If I owned that house, I'd probably make sure that the golf course put some sort of signage to let people know.
Mm-hmm.
And now, granted, it's a private place, so a lot of the people that play there probably know, but even private places have events and bring guests and stuff. So anyways, it was a good time. We had a good few hours out there.
Yes. And as it's what is it? A good walk spoiled, was it that Feinstein said? A good walk spoiled was a round of golf. Yesterday, and I led with it for most of the first half hour, the National Training Center, and as someone who has worn the Stars and Stripes, to have a home for U.S. soccer, and not just a team, but all 27, a lot of the age groups, have all these bells and whistles. Now U.S. Soccer has a place to gravitate toward to build and have. You're not just you're not like a wandering minstrel anymore going through the countryside. You've got a home. What's it like for you to see something like that finally get the ribbon cut?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I know that we're unique in the size of our country, but I do think that this matters in terms of just expectations of when you go into a camp. Because, we had so many camps in so many different places, and they'd be bringing in, their chefs, and I don't know how much money this guy spent when he was running the national team, but we'd bring in portable gyms into, the hotels so that, we wouldn't have to go then use a Lifetime Fitness or something like that. So it's just nice to have a place where they're going to know, hey, when you're getting called into camp in the US, that is, this is where you're going to be and this is what it's going to be like. And, it's far enough away from the city where it's not too many distractions.
Yeah. You're looking at 113 acres, 20 minutes south of an airport. And it is somewhat, it is tree surrounded. So, I mean, it's not like buildings and being in subdivisions or something like that where you duck in and it's like, oh, by the way, here's where you're training. I mean, this literally is a complex. This is a campus, and you get to do your own thing, and you get to do it behind a gate with security, so no one's like gate crashed or anything like that, unless they figure out ways to come in through the woods to kind of see what's going on. So, I mean, literally, this is a place where you get to go to work now. It's not just all over the place. Did you actually have to go and work out at a Lifetime Fitness when you were a national team?
No.
Just checking. I mean, it's like I got to get in a workout, and it's like, okay, well, there's no place to get a workout. Oh, there's a Planet Fitness, there's a Lifetime down here at the strip mall around the corner from the hotel. I didn't know if you have to get stuck with something like that.
But I can't imagine the money U.S. Soccer has spent over the years bringing like portable gyms into like hotel ballrooms, so that we could work out in there, and the equipment that they would bring in. But it was needed because the hotel gym obviously is not suitable for what we're trying to do.
Oh, come on.
So little things.
Well, yeah, and now you have this great opportunity. When you mention this, and I want to bring this to your mentees here for a second. So when they're having to stay in shape and have off seasons and things like that, how creative have they been in their feedback to you? It's like, yeah, I had to do this, this, and this, and then try to figure things out. And how vigilant have you and Greg had to be about making sure that they stay on task and find ways to work out and stretch and get all those things done, and might have to be a little creative about it. But how vigilant have you guys been in mentoring, and how vigilant are your mentees when it comes to staying in shape?
Yeah, I think that obviously the higher the level, the more vigilant. We're actually working on a summer program right now to give kids kind of an idea or kind of a framework to work with, as far as how often should you be running or lifting, and what are a couple different ideas, because I think everybody
Jack LaLanne all of a sudden, and everybody
don't know who that is, but to be honest, this is mostly Greg.
Okay. Jack LaLanne, and this is for folks of my age group, 920 and older. When in the early days of television, he was a guy who had those the morning workout shows that were syndicated that would be on at like 6:30 in the morning or something like that. In the 80s, you had all the
Buns of Steel.
Right. Yeah. So basically it was kind of like Tammy Lee Webb, but it was a guy, and he wore like a jumpsuit, and he did it in the days of black and white television, and he did it forever. And he would be like in his 90s in color TV, and he would still be wearing the same jumpsuit, doing the same workouts and the same kinds of things. He'd be doing his half hour on television, and people would be watching, and they watched him for like 60 years doing this on TV. So I just have this vision now of Greg in a blue jumpsuit when he's 108 years old doing the same kind of exercises. Sorry. Flashback to black and white television. But so Greg, a workout routine. So with Greg, huh?
Yeah, more of like a
how-to or
kind of ideas.
Yeah.
So he filmed a bunch of stuff of, hey, if you're looking to get ball touches, 3 days a week. Here are a couple ideas. So just something for kids to work off of in case they're lacking a little creativity, don't know exactly what to do. But I do want to try and actually reach out to some mentees who are either going to college or in college and say, hey, send me your fitness program that the college has sent you so I can share it so that people know, hey, this is what a fitness routine looks like if you want to play in D1, D2, D3, whatever it is.
So did you have a fit? I'll put it in air quotes, and it might be a dollar. Did you have a fitness routine that you stuck to, or that you kind of figured out for yourself over time? It's like, yeah, I'm going to go out back and I'm going to do, 30 wind sprints or this at height, at IMG or whatever. Did you have a fitness routine that you settled on, or what?
No, just because I don't remember taking much time off. It just seemed like I was at IMG until summer, and then summer I went back home and we were playing state cup stuff still, or I'd play, I don't even know what at the time it was called, the summer league down at IMG for junior and senior year. So there maybe was one summer where I took some time off sophomore year, but I think back then I was kind of just hanging out and doing a little running here and there, but nothing serious. More like I'll get back in shape when I get back down there to IMG.
Yeah.
It's different time, different era.
Well, and I was going to ask, because metabolism when we're in our teens compared to metabolism, now when I'm in my 90s is far different. And so you could kind of could you still eat whatever you wanted to and then work it off by, running and doing exercises, or did you have to be vigilant in what you were, eating and all of that stuff when you were in the impressionable years of high school and then in college?
For the most part, what I wanted to, but that said, I've always ate pretty healthy. I've always been pretty aware of what I'm putting in my body, even as a pro. And I talk to kids about this all the time. I know that there's some pros out there like don't eat bread or don't eat hamburgers or don't eat French fries or whatever it is. But I was like, no, I'm going to eat whatever I want, just in small amounts and here and there. So I ate healthy probably 80% of the time, but 20% of the time I didn't care. That way, if I wanted to eat unhealthy, I knew, okay, hey, this isn't going to affect me. I'm going to be able to just work this off and, be fine. So, try and have flexibility in that regard. So I think if you're treating your body well most of the time, it's nice to enjoy life.
Yeah, what's the phrasing? The great orator James Buffett said that some folks treat their bodies like a temple. I treat mine like a tent. That's straight up me. I treat my body like a tent instead of a temple. So when you are mentees these days, and are the younger athletes, are they more vigilant about it? They literally are like, well, Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't eat this, this, and this, and so I'm going to follow this path. Are they that much attention to it?
Not too much, honestly. There's a lot more information, obviously, out there. If you scroll TikTok, I'm sure you'll see something about protein.
Yes, the exercise gurus of the TikToks. Yes, absolutely true.
So there's obviously a lot more information out there, but I haven't had too many conversations with athletes about nutrition. I mention it, and actually, John, this is actually a good segue because not segue, but a thing to mention is that I'm having a conversation next week with former national team nutritionist, men's and women's, who also worked with the crew for a while and now works in hockey and does some other things. But I want to we're going to basically do dual interviews where I can help his clients and he can help ours as far as, what should kids be thinking about and different age groups, and, what should they have for breakfast if they're on the run or if they've got an 8 a.m. game, or I don't know, different little things, right? Where it's like, hey, a little tidbit. And anyone that's got youth athletes in sports knows the dinner dilemma on a weekday of, kid needs to be at practice at 5 o'clock and then they're not getting home till 7:38. So are you eating dinner at 4 or 4:30, or are you eating dinner at 8 or 8:30? Or what the heck's going on there? So, I want to ask them a bunch of things like that. So nutrition is actually a topic I've been thinking about lately.
See, oh my gosh, I've actually helped the process along. I don't know
You
what
have.
I don't know what I'm doing here. That's just crazy.
This is why I jump on, John. You're just full of good ideas.
God, that's your secret. Yes, proper hydration. Sure. Yes, we believe in proper hydration for guests as well. And I promise not to do anything that will give you a spit take while you're consuming. Because I mean, there's all of this stuff that goes on. It's like you're not supposed to eat after 9 o'clock. You're not supposed to, the whole half hour before, half hour after. You got to eat this stuff. You got to be aware of lactic acidosis. You got to, make sure that you have you have all of these different things available to you. But is it more finding your own rhythm about, your body and what responds to it? Or is it that whole set idea of, okay, here are main guidelines to keep an eye on, and then maybe you can go sideways here and sideways here? Or is it really your own rule book when it comes to this stuff?
I think that, to Abster's point there, yeah, everybody is different. Right? You have to know your own body. But I think it is nice to know a few guidelines and a few things that can be helpful,
Yeah.
right? If you're looking for energy, if you're looking to add weight, if you're looking to lose a few pounds, because you enjoyed the off season, right? Those types of little things where it's like, okay, I know what I need to do, but also as far as pregame meals and breakfast and those types of things, it's more what works for you, right? If you've got time to make eggs, yeah, great. That's unbelievable. If you think you're going to throw up in the morning because you have breakfast, that's just what my kid recently told me. Then just grab a granola bar or grab a banana or grab something on the road or some peanuts, anything. But for pregame meal, it's the same thing. Like, there are guys that like to eat like 5 hours beforehand and then eat nothing. And I'm like, oh my God, I would like to eat 3 hours before, but I could do 3.5 or 4. But then I'd have to eat again, like on my way to the stadium or at the field, right? I'd have a small snack. So it's just, everyone's just so different. And so to try and bucket into like, hey, everybody needs to do this is crazy. Because when I went to the crew, I was already like 30 years old. And now all of a sudden we had this nutritionist, and he ended up working with Greg at the national team. And he was like, yeah, we're going to cut out carbs. And like, we would be in preseason and at a hotel where they control the meals, and there were barely any carbs available. And it was like crazy. We're all starving. Try going carbless when you're not used to it, and while you're working out, and tell me how hungry you are all the time. But anyways, it was a big adjustment, and I realized like, this is not for me. But I took in some of the information of like, hey, that's when I adapted my breakfast and my post kind of or
Your pregame?
pre-sleep snack.
Oh, okay.
I adjusted those two things to be more less carbs, and those two little adjustments helped me a little bit. So I think it's important to get information, but then fine tune it to what works for you.
Okay, so then break this down for me. So your night before a game, say, what did you go to bed? Did you go to bed at sundown or something? Like it's 7:30 to get your 8 hours. Were you an 8-hour guy first and foremost?
Oh, 8+.
Okay, I love you for that. Sleep enough for the both of us. So if you're an 8+ hour guy, when were you eating before you went to bed, and what were you eating pre-match day?
Pre-match day, I would eat a normal amount of food. And of course, when you're a high-level athlete, a normal amount is a lot of food, right? I read something recently that most young athletes aren't eating enough. They're not fueling their bodies enough because of how much they're working out. So I would eat a normal big meal at dinner time, and then most nights towards the end of my career anyways, I was having a protein shake, which now I'm like, I don't know if I could have a protein shake right before bed, but I'd have a protein shake probably about an hour before going to bed.
Okay.
And we ate dinner early. So if I was going to bed at 10 o'clock, we'd have dinner at probably 6-ish, because I had younger kids at the time. So, then I'm having a protein shake at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and going to sleep at 10.
Okay, so then normal kickoff, and then I'll adjust this to like an early kick, like say you're playing in Toronto or something like this season. So normal kick night side. What's your daytime routine, meal wise, to get into a match day?
Big breakfast, always a big breakfast, like 8-ish, maybe earlier. Light lunch, like 11:30, 12. Big meal at 3:30 for a 7 o'clock game.
Okay.
So the big meal meaning like pasta and chicken, a little bit of salad or some broccoli or something like that.
Yeah, you lost me at the green stuff.
That was the big meal. And then maybe 30, 45 minutes before going out for warm-ups, I'd have like a piece of toast with jelly or a banana or a granola bar or something like that.
Okay, so then if kickoff is moved up for television and you're the early afternoon game, how does that juggle things and how does that screw up your cycle?
Yeah, I tweeted about it when Atlanta United was playing in Toronto. Like the 1 o'clock kickoffs, the noon kickoffs are brutal. It really is. It just messes up the routine. So I always struggled in those moments where it was like, okay, say you have a 1 o'clock game, you work backwards. Like, okay, your pregame meal is usually 3 to 4 hours before. So now you're eating pregame meal at 9-ish, 9:30. So for me, the dilemma was always, do I wake up and have breakfast at 6 and then have a second meal at 9:30, or do I just wait until 9 or 8:30 and try and go in early and have a big meal then? And it just depended on sleep schedule and what I was feeling and stuff. But I couldn't have chicken and pasta at 8:30 and 9 o'clock in the morning. So then I'm just doing a big breakfast.
Okay. Why couldn't you have chicken and pasta at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, they had it available for some guys, but just couldn't do it. I'm such a big breakfast person, John. I don't even know if, I rarely sleep in like late, but if I did sleep until like 11 or 12, I don't think I'm waking up and having lunch. I think I'm waking up and having breakfast still.
Okay. All right. Just checking. Because like I said, I know that some folks, the whole thing of an early kick or an even later kick, like if you're on the West Coast, are you still on an East Coast schedule with meals? If it's a 10:30, or does everything slide that extra 3 hours? If you're living in the East Coast, like if you were playing LAG or you're playing Seattle or Portland or something like that, and you were playing here in Atlanta or Columbus, and you had a late night kick out there, does that just push everything 3 hours later, or are you still sticking to your East Coast schedule?
You adjust a little bit,
Okay.
because it's just it's easier going west.
Okay.
Right? It's tougher for the teams that are coming east, but just because you go to bed early and wake up early, but it's just a long day. When you have that West Coast kickoff, it's just such a long day because I'm usually up at like 5:30 in the morning, and then it's just a long day. But I became a napper throughout my career on game day.
Okay.
Especially if those late games, it's just a nice way to spend 2 hours, hour and a half, where it's and just get some extra rest. I was so big on sleep, John, and I talked to my mentees about this, where I only missed games for one muscle injury in my career. And I'm pretty sure, I took very good care of my body, but I still think the main reason for that is because I got really good sleep throughout my career.
Far out. Yeah. Like I said, you're sleeping for the both of us, man. I'm an 8, but I rarely get 8. And so that adds to my natural surliness here, doing a morning show. It's just like, you got what'd you get? 4.5, 5? Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. Bring it. Yeah. My BS coefficient goes down the less sleep I get. So it's just, I could never nap. I can't nap, man. If the sun is out, I can't nap. I can fall asleep on an airplane like that, but I can't nap during the daytime. I literally can't.
Yeah. I know some people are like that, and not everybody did nap. But yeah, I always liked, especially a hotel nap. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Put a little on a Saturday afternoon. You got Premier League going on. Like,
Okay.
just have that watching, but I don't really care, so I'm gonna fall asleep at some point.
Okay. Did you run the air conditioning in the hotel room, or did you sleep with normal conditions? Because sometimes reconstituted air and all of the dust and everything, and airplanes and that kind of thing. Did you sleep with the AC, or did you turn the AC off?
Oh no, I gotta have it cold in the room.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because some folks will sit there and say, well, because of all the dust that comes in from the AC, that gets you sick and it adds to your allergies and all that kind of stuff. I sleep with it off. So that way, so everything's room temperature, and it's, it doesn't get all messed up. So, bet you didn't think we were going to be discussing food and sleep habits and all that kind of stuff that you did.
Hey, you never know. You never know with Mr. John Nelson. So that's one of the fun things about being on.
Yeah, like I said, literally, when we'll just take a conversation and we'll go someplace, and I have no earthly idea where it goes. And I think literally this is the first time that we've been talking about sleep and nutrition, because that's my prepared notes for today, as always.
I like it.
Before we get out of here, the Atlanta Uniteds, they're doing pretty well. They're on a bit of a run. They found their rhythm. What's it been like for you to see them hit this rhythm in the last month or so?
Yeah, it's good. And, it always comes when you least expect it, which is great. But that's what confidence will do for you, right? You win a game, and all of a sudden, if you can get a couple going, the mood in the locker room starts to change around the training facility. There's just a belief that occurs. And so, it's at every level. Look at Real Madrid right now. What a disaster. But that's how it is. When you lose a couple games, when things don't go your way, when the pressure gets to you a little bit, then teammates get after each other a little bit, and it's just tough. And the reverse can happen too, where you've got a group of guys that are pulling, and you fight through, and you get a couple wins, and you start rolling, and you just take it from there. So it's good to see Atlanta United winning games, scoring some goals, bringing some excitement back to the Bend. So hopefully continues on.
When's the next time that I get to see you in the press box?
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question.
When's the next time? When's the next time you're in town? I guess first and foremost.
I'm in town on May 20th for an event with Cox Communications.
Oh.
Yes, but that's just a fly in on the 19th, fly out on the 20th. Midweek jaunt. Okay. And then I'm coming in early June to do some stuff around town. Maybe have a camp. We're having a camp as of now. Okay. And do a couple freebies in a couple different communities. So yeah, it'll be fun. But I don't think Atlanta United have a game. So
no, it's that World Cup thing. As always, my friend, it's great to see you. I'm glad that you are a better golfer than Brad Gazan. I will never let him hear the end of it now. And next time I see him, which will be tomorrow, actually, I'll be sure to bring this up when I see him in his suit and tie, as always. And Dell is hoping that you take care of Tampa.
As am I, Dell.
And it's always fun to talk USL Championship and all the things with you, because we never know where it goes. As always, my friend, great to see you. Have a great weekend, and straight down the middle and bank it off the house, and you got an easy 2-putt for a bird.
Just how we drew it up.
Yeah, be good.
All right, see ya.
There goes Parky. And it's always fun to catch up with Michael Parkers for the Friday Free Kick. And literally, because mentoring goes in so many different directions, it's an opportunity for us to ask a bunch of different things. And literally, it was working out. We start talking about workouts, and I'm like, okay, what about this? Is it uniform for his mentees these days? Are they mandating, the current 15 to 18-year-old? It's like, yeah, we're all going to the gym for 90 minutes a day, and we're doing this, and we're going to class, and we're going to go work out. And then we've got practice. I didn't know if it was regimented like that, if they were that dedicated to it, if some folks just kind of sit there and go, well, hey, here's the deal, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, it is 10 o'clock. And I have a question for this first timer. We are cutting the ribbon on yet another individual here on the morning show. And it is time to catch up with our friend Ramses Sandoval. You, sir, good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. It's great to catch up with you. It's great to jump on the horn with you. I'm excited to chat.
Well, my first question for you, sir, is what makes it what makes you more nervous? Prepping for a match or getting ready for a dance recital?
Well, I tell you what, I'm getting a little bit of both this week, and I'm at another one today. I'm hitting you up from a hotel. I'll fly to Atlanta a little later and get ready for our match over there. But it's got to be pretty close because the dance dad vibes are they're pretty intense, man. These competitions are, they're fantastic. You get to hang with the family and whatnot, but they're intense. So I'd say they're neck and neck, if you will.
And it's fun to catch up with you when we're doing when these kinds of things go. The reason I ask that is because of when it is when I was told that you would be with us this week. Our guardian angel in this, Kirk Reynolds for Major League Soccer, goes, yeah, he's getting ready for his daddy-daughter dance recital before he heads out and gets ready for Atlanta and LAG. And I was wondering, it's like, how do you get the butterflies? Are you nervous? I know you want things to go 130% well for
Yeah.
The the ballerina extraordinaire. It's like, the whole nervous idea of being a proud dad?
No, there's no doubt, and it's no different than if you're cheering for your kid in football or soccer or any type of match, karate. So it is, So I had a good talk with her. I pumped her up. Good mentality going into the competition. She's excited about it. This is her fifth one this year, so she's all over the place, and I told her it's going to be great. So actually, as soon as I'm done with you, I'll head down there and we'll get ready for her solo. So she's excited.
Okay. What's the pep talk like?
Well, the pep talk is, listen, we've spoken about what you could do, what you want to do. She wants to place top 5 now. It started with top 20, it went to top 10, now top 5. These competitions down in Orlando particularly are, they're filled with talent. It's the cliche, right? LA, Texas, Vegas, Orlando, they have top talent. Then you have smaller cities where you can go and compete and you could certainly win. But the way I look at this, in soccer terms, if you will, it's the World Cup, it's the Champions League. So you sort of you try to transcend against phenomenal competition. So for her, setting those goals is great. I back her up on him, and she's all about it. So she's in a bunch of dances as well. It blows my mind what these kids do. I mean, for example, and she's not the only one, obviously, but I'll give her example. She's 7 dances, so 7 different choreographies.
Oh, wow.
1 solo that they're putting on today. So it's unbelievable.
Crazy, man. And the discipline that is attached to that is insane. Like I said, I did want to discuss that because I know that you're because the proud dad, I couldn't let that go.
No, that's awesome. I appreciate that.
The other reason that you're here is because you are wandering up to this particular city that is going to be soon to be named Atlanta Stadium, coming up here in like 5 weeks or something. But
yeah,
you're coming up here to the Benz for the matchup, and it is Atlanta that seems to be turning a corner, and LAG that is trying to figure out who's going to be scoring the goals because Joao Klaus is on the shelf. What's study hall been like getting ready for this one for you?
Yeah, look, we spoke to Tata Martino yesterday, and he spoke about that, right? He's got amazing experience. So for him to set up this team, and we've all heard that bizarre stat of Atlanta picking up 3 wins for the first time in a long time in all competitions. The Saba stat of scoring for the first time since October 2024, which is insane. It's almost unbelievable. But he looked good in that position that theoretically you would have Miggy in. I don't think Almiron's going to be ready to go. So I think Tata will continue to go with what's been working with him. But I've always said this about Atlanta United, and more so this year with Gerardo Martino, which I know very well at the helm. It's a matter of time for him. And the first we've had Atlanta quite a bit this season. In the first game we had, the first thing that Tata told me was, listen, when I joined this team and we won the championship back in the day, we weren't good right out of the gate. It took me some time. So I think that's what's happening this year against a different team. Almiron's a different player. I think they're setting up a different culture this time around. But with Martino, man, it's a matter of time before this team starts cooking. And I won't mention any other teams, but in contrast to other teams that are struggling in the league, there's no doubt Atlanta has the most complete team, as far as talent and what they can do, and who knows what they'll do in the summer. Now, one of my colleagues actually asked Gerardo Martino that yesterday, and all I can say is that, Tata didn't say they won't make any moves in the summer. So, who knows what happens after the World Cup. So for Atlanta United, I think they are making the turn here. I think for them it would be essential to pick up a win tomorrow against the Galaxy at home, because I do believe they are the favorite team now that they're continuing to gather up better score lines. And for the Galaxy, you couldn't have said it better. I mean, they've been struggling all year long with travel, with injuries. They've never really had Paintsville 100%. I had the Galaxy a lot in CONCACAF Champions Cup as well in those calls. And a couple of weeks ago, I spoke to Greg Vanny, and he told me they had 7 games on like a 28-day stretch or something like that. And, they went down to Panama, and they went down to Jamaica, and they went down and played in Estado de Mexico with the altitude, which is brutal against Toluca. And you just saw what happened with Toluca LAFC a couple of days ago down there. So it's not excuses, but it hasn't been easy for them. They lose Klaus, who was sort of that big game changer for them this season. Paintsville hopefully getting 100% now. That will certainly help, and I think it's going to be a matter of a situation where now it's Vanny who has to modify his chess pieces, right, with Paintsville, with Pack, see where he wants to put Royce. But there's no question that losing Klaus is a big blow to them. The Galaxy had such a tough season last season, coming off a championship. It was so bizarre to see them just not able to get anything going. And, this year it hasn't been great, but, they're a position off the playoff spot in the West. So it's a long season, and it's the same exact thing I was going to tell you with Atlanta. These are clubs and teams that could get into the playoffs in the 9th, in the 8th seed, and make a run at the end of the year.
I got 2 other Atlanta United questions, and you open an entirely different door with LAG for me here. So let me go Atlanta United. I'll give you dealer's choice. You can either answer a question about Alexei Miranchuk, or you can answer a question about the youngins. What direction do you want to go first?
Let's go Miranchuk first. He's been balling.
All right. So the smooth operator, as we call him, Alexei Miranchuk, he has been a point guard that is not afraid to launch from 3-point range, and he can be deadly, and you've gotten to see his imagination, and you see how he works like that Vulcan 3D chess sometimes with him. And it's when he gets into this rhythm like he's in right now, what's it like for you to see someone like Alexei Miranchuk who can literally have that ball on a string and work the magic that he does?
Well, I'll do you one better. I mean, I called Alexei at Atalanta de Bergamo with Giampiero Gasperini and that team that balled out in UEFA Champions League. And for a long time, couple of seasons, they were the big surprise. It wasn't Inter Milan, who, of course, now is, they're back. It wasn't Milan. It wasn't La Vecchia Signora. It wasn't Juventus. It wasn't La Roma. It was Atalanta with Gasperini. Of course, they had Zapata and Muriel, who was at Orlando City last year. And in that team, he was phenomenal. And you see shades of that Miranchuk in this team. He's got such quality. And it's funny you said point guard, because one of my favorite players all time, and it's probably because I'm from Los Angeles, but I'll open a whole other can now. In NBA, all times, it's Kobe Bryant. And the way he used to play, it with so much elegance. And another player that comes to mind is also, Thierry Henry. There's players that have this elegance about them in the way they play and the way they handle the ball. Zinedine Zidane, I go all day with you. And Miranchuk is one of them. The way he moves with the ball, the posture, the body set that he has certainly helps. He's got that ability to, come from long range. And he's a player that if he's able to get into that type of level and start connecting with guys like Latelat, who, listen, man, we've all been tough on Emmanuel Latelat since he joined, but he is a goal scorer. I feel like he just needs a little bit of confidence building. When he joined Atlanta, I'll admit it, last season, I was one of the ones that was saying, well, this guy's he's gonna get tired of scoring. So I think that is what's going on with Atlanta United. It's sort of been bizarre. They got such an unbelievable team. They got a ton of talent. They're deep. You talked about the youngins. They got a good young core. Cooper Sanchez, man, what a player he is. And I just think it's a matter of time. And again, no point intended in trying to talk about Atlanta last year, but Tata Martino, man, he's a different breed and a different experienced manager. So I think for him, again, for the millionth time, it'll be a matter of time.
You look at the youngins, and you finished the last match against CF Montreal with 4 academy products on the pitch. It was Jay Fortune, Luke Brennan, Cooper Sanchez. Then you've got, Will Riley, who has put in minutes, and you just have all of these young guys that have come through the system. And Matt Edwards was the fourth one I couldn't think of. They know what it means to wear that crest. And there was a moment late in the match against CF Montreal where Daniel Rios is standing over an AME high at like 90 plus. And Daniel Rios is trying to, do the whole finger pointing. It's like, yeah, you're down there and I'm up here. First guy in the pile was Cooper Sanchez. It's like, get away from my guy. And you're seeing that with all these young guys, that if there's something going on and you end up violating the mass confrontation policy and getting a fine as a club, that you see the young guys, they're the first ones sitting there going, don't mess with my guy. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. And it's really cool to see that they get it, what it means to wear that crest from a young age, and it carries over and it rubs off on all the new acquisitions.
Yeah, there's no question. And that, again, I think that comes from leadership, and it comes from Gerardo Martino and what he brings to the table with this team. Again, this is something that I would argue you didn't see particularly last season in what was a frustrating season for me. I mean, doing the shows up in Stanford, I mean, every MLS 360 we had, I couldn't believe that they couldn't get anything going, that they didn't have a style of play with the talent that they had. I mean, every week we'd go to their game and they're down, or they just can't turn it around, or they can't come back from a 1-0 scoreline, or they can, they couldn't tie a game. So it's all mentality. And I think it comes from, these kids know where their manager has been. I mean, this is a guy who's transcended a World Cup with Paraguay, multiple finals in Copa America, managed Barcelona, managed Leo Messi. So that, these kids have to take advantage of that. And with the mentality and guys like Miranchuk and the experience of Miguel Almiron, and guys of that, really of that tenure, if you will, in the game, it's exciting for them.
All right. Ramses Sandoval hanging out with us before he goes and does incredibly important things, rooting on his daughter in a dance competition where she's going to get all like 98 medals. She's going to be podium all weekend.
I hope.
That's how this is going to roll. We do sometimes red light, yellow light, green light, and the way that we look at it is it's teams, and I'll leave this to however you want to do it: Eastern Conference, Western Conference, on the whole, however you want to play it. At this point of the season, who would be a red light, who is a yellow light, and it can go either way. Who is red light, meaning, okay, danger, stop, things are really going off the rails. Yellow light, it can mean that they're going from red to green. They could be on the uptick in the intersection, or they could be going the other way in the break failing. Or green light, who's really rolling right now. So in MLS at this point of the season, as we get closer and closer to the international break and this World Cup thing everybody talks about, who would be red light, yellow light, green light for you? You can go whatever direction you want to start.
A green light, if you asked me 3 days ago, I would have said LAFC if they would have been able to get past Toluca. And I had that game. It was frustrating to call that scenario, especially when they went to halftime at 0-0. I was like, Marc Dos Santos would have signed this at the beginning of the match. Where do I sign a first 0-0 scoreline, first 45 minutes? So now it's San Jose, no doubt. It's San Jose Earthquakes at the green light. It's no longer a situation where hey, what's going on here? Curiosity has stricken. No, it's just Bruce Arena cooking. They don't have Espinosa. They don't have José Martinez. They don't have Chicho Arango, who last year when you saw that tried and you were like, oh man, they're going to be fantastic. They have shown and they have picked up scorelines against very important teams where I'm buying them now, and it's a great story too. So that's part of the reason why I'm giving it a green light. I mean, San Jose, those fans have suffered for quite a bit. Yellow light, it's going to be easy. It's Atlanta United. I think this is a team that is on their way up with Martino, who's finding, I think, a good tune to this team. Almiron getting back. I think there's going to be a way for Gerardo to plug in both Saba and Almiron, which is what I really want to see. In a perfect world, I want to see Saba, Almiron, Martinez, and Miranchuk start with Cooper Sanchez in there as well. That would be formidable for me. And red is too easy. It's Philadelphia. I mean, it's unbelievable what has happened to the Supporters Shield champs. And again, you can make an argument, and I could sit here and tell you Kansas City or St. Louis, but again, these are teams that did not win a Supporters Shield last season. It's been unbelievable what has happened to Philly. They showed some light in Champions League in that scoreline at Azteca Stadium against America. I spoke about that during that time, but it's just a team that I don't see a direction in. It's been tough. had the opportunity also to speak with Bradley Carnell, and such a nice manager, rather, in the way that he tried to explain the tough situation going on with his team. And it's mentality, and it could be confidence as well. When your team is just not able to pick up those score lines, it takes a toll on the players.
All right. I would like for you, please, sir, to hit the promo for me and let everybody know where they can catch you this weekend and where they can see you in all of your 3 dimensions. Where do they see you?
Absolutely. We're on AppleTV tomorrow from beautiful Bench Stadium, Atlanta Stadium. Of course, it's going to host a bunch of World Cup games as well. We've been there a bunch of times this year. One of my top 3 favorite places to call anything, NFL, soccer, you name it. It's just unbelievable. It really is. To me, it's top 3. And we're going to be there for Atlanta United against the Los Angeles Galaxy, and we have La Previa. So we've been doing great with our La Previa show now, stadium to stadium, which has changed the game on the Spanish side of our coverage. I'll be alongside Miguel Gallardo, and I'll be alongside Michele Giannone. So we have a great show for you. I think it's going to be a great game. I think the fans are going to be excited to get back into the stadium. And I can't wait for this Atlanta team to be rolling, because when that Atlanta United stadium is packed, it's a different it's something else.
No doubt about it. Mr. Gallardo is a veteran of this program, and he puts up with my shenanigans a great deal. As a resident 2-NA junkie, to finally be able to have a conversation with you about anything and everything. Thanks for dropping by, especially on a very, very busy day. You know now where the key is under the mat. You know where the garage door opener is. You've got the code to get in the house to come and crash here in the office. Visit anytime, and anytime you want to vent your spleen, come on in. Go, Nelson, I got to get something off my chest. You come and crash at any time, my friend. It's great to see you. We'll see you at Mercedes-Benz tomorrow.
Oh, you as well. This is one of the funnest ones I've done. Please, let's do it again.
You got it. Ramses Sandoval, he's going to go root on the boss and find out what's going on. So Ramses Sandoval able to visit with us here this morning. That was very cool. Nico Moreno coming up in about 13 minutes. And then Nino Torres coming in at the top of the hour. So absolutely. So we'll figure out, we'll find out what's going on, and we'll rock and roll from there. All right. So there we go. Sorry. So I'm just trying to do like 19 different things here in a bit. All right. So, all right, hang on. Let's see. Let me check on travel plans. All right, so let's see. All right, so sorry, I'm basically covering from one thing to another here. So this is what sausage, as David says. Let me see. All right, so that's there. All right, so now let's get into juice boxes and refs. We got to get into that before Nico Moreno joins us in about 10 minutes. So here's where we go when it comes to Major League Soccer and all the juice boxes. We got to get into that and let you know favorites, and then we will analyze who is in the middle for this matchup for Atlanta, and we will get into those numbers. And we'll get into this more in depth with Nico when he drops by in just a little bit. Okay. Toronto with another day game hosting Messi and friends at 1 o'clock, so add 10 minutes. Toronto's a plus 260, draws a plus 320. Messi and friends angry at a minus 111. 230, which means 240. Chicago Fire and Red Bulls. Fire minus 175, draws a plus 375. Red Bulls are a plus 409. Try to get a squeaky clean result out of that one. 430, CF Montreal and the purple team. CF Montreal at home is a minus 108. This one has under written all over it. Draws a plus 300. Orlando City is a plus 260. Atlanta is favored at home against LAG at a plus 145, draws a plus 260, and LAG is a plus 175. I just don't know where LAG is going to score goals. Charlotte hosting Cincinnati at a plus 114, draws a plus 290. FC Cincinnati is a plus 220. The other 740 kick, Revs and Philadelphia. Revs are a plus 165, slight underdog to the Union, which I find strange. Union are a plus 160, draws a plus 240. 8:30 kick, which means 8:40 Eastern. Dallas and RSL. Dallas is a plus 120, draws a plus 280, and RSL is a plus 200. I find that one a little strange. I'd probably look at the number there. 8:25 Nashville hosting DC United at a minus 189 after coming through what they went through all week. They're a minus 189. Draws a plus 320. DC United's a plus 500. And at 9:30, which is 9:40 kick, Colorado hosting all caps. St. Louis City SC is a dog at a plus 260, draws a plus 290, and the Rapids are a plus 104. 10:40 starts. Portland hosting Sporting at a minus 182, draws a plus 375. Sporting is a plus 470. Seattle hosting San Diego FC is a minus 137. San Diego, we'll get into these West Coast games here in a bit. San Diego's a plus 333, draws a plus 300. San Jose hosting Vancouver. San Jose's a plus 200. Vancouver's a plus 135, draws a plus 270. 3 matches on Sunday. 4:40 kick, NYC and Crew. NYC's a plus 145, draws a plus 260. Crew's a plus 179. Minnesota United hosting Austin at Allianz, a minus 143. Austin is a plus 375, draws a plus 309. LAFC, big favorite at home against Houston. We've seen what Houston has been able to do tactically. If you missed that, go back to our Casey White conversation we had on Tuesday. She's seen him 4 times already this year and has seen a difference in how things are lining up for them with a tactical change and a formation change from Ben Olsen. Houston, by the way, a plus 409, and LAFC is a plus 320. That's your juice boxes that are hanging out here right now. Like I said, we'll go a little bit more in-depth in those when Nico Moreno joins us in the other matchups. Okay, so and there's inside the VAR studio, match day 12. Abby, I will ask when I see him tomorrow. I will ask what his other 2 are. Abby wanted to know what the other 3 stadia were. Of the 3 stadia, what were the other 2? With Atlanta Stadium being one of those 3. Toronto FC and Messi and friends. Victor Rivas is in the middle. Corey Rockwell, Stephen McGonigal, your ARs. Philip Dujic is your 4th. Jeff Gamble and Claudio Badea are upstairs. Fire and Red Bulls. Alan Chapman in the middle. Michael Barwagon and Gianni Facchini are your ARs. And Sergi Boyko is your 4th. And Caroline Chenard and Tom Supple are upstairs. CF Montreal and the purple team. Marcus de Oliveira II is in the middle. Jeffrey Greason, Stefan Tanaka Front, your ARs. Pierre-Luc Lazier is your 4th. David Barry and Mike Kampmeinert are upstairs. Fotis Bazakis is in the middle for Atlanta and LAG. We'll catch up with Fotis Bazakis numbers here in a sec. Jeff Schwartzel, Nick Balser, your ARs. Sergei Demyanchuk is your 4th. Don't mess with him. Kevin Terry Jr. and Tom Felice are upstairs. Charlotte and Cincinnati, Ismail Elfath is the man in the middle. Corey Parker, Kyle Atkins, your ARs. Jair Marufo is your 4th. Caroline Chenard and Tom Supple doing the day-night doubleheader are upstairs. Revs in Philly, Tori Penso, Brooke Mayo, Catherine Nesbitt. Edson Carvajal is your 4th. Edvin Jurasevich is your VAR. TJ Zablocki is with him upstairs. Dallas and RSL, Joe Dickerson in the middle for that one. Jeremy Kiso, Logan Brown, your ARs. Lorenzo Hernandez is your 4th. Jeff Gamble and Zeno Cho are upstairs. Nashville and DC United. Nashville has Joshua Encarnacion in the middle. Jeremy Hansen and Ian McKay are your ARs. Rosendo Mendoza is your 4th. Lucas Zapala and Robert Schapp are upstairs. Colorado in all caps. Timothy Ford is in the middle for that one. Okay. Brian Dunwald, Heatherly, your ARs. Alexis De Silva is your 4th. David Barry and Mike Kampmeinert are upstairs doing the daily double there. Portland and Sporting. Abby, be good. Have a fabulous Friday. We'll see. Got the bananas tonight. Load in later. Good deal. So Portland and Sporting. Remy Tuchon is in the middle. Ryan Graves, Callie Smith, your ARs. Ricardo Fierro is your 4th. Daniel Radford and Tom Felice are upstairs. San Jose and Vancouver. Malik Badawi is in the middle. Chris Elliott, Megan Mullen, your ARs. John Freeman is your 4th. Izmir Pekmich and TJ Zablocki are upstairs on the day-night doubleheader. Seattle, San Diego. Armando Villarreal is in the middle. Adam Garner, Kevin Locke, your ARs. Eligio Arguin is your 4th. Guido Gonzalez Jr., Claudio Badea are upstairs. Sunday, NYC and Crew. Rubio Vasquez is at the 106/68 at Yankee Stadium. Nick Uranga, Jose De Silva, your ARs. Atahan Yaya is your 4th. Izmir Pekmich and Craig Lowry are upstairs. Minnesota and Austin for Sunday Night Soccer. Chris Penso is in the middle. Chris Wadham and Adam Winkowski, your ARs. Carlos Rodriguez is your 4th. Joe Dickerson and Jonathan Johnson are upstairs. And LAFC and Houston. Drew Fisher is in the middle. Elias Arfa, Diego Blas, your ARs. Abdu Njai is your 4th. Edvin Jurasevich and Craig Lowry are upstairs. Now, time to go and look on Fotis Bazakis. Let's find out about Fotis Bazakis, shall we? As we look at our referee statistics, but not for the year 2023, which seems to be the default year, that Who Scored wants to let us know what's going on with officials. So now that we are in 2026 with our refs, we are checking on Fotis Bazakas. Now, Fotis Bazakas, when it comes to fouls per match, is 6th. And of anyone who has called more than one match, he is really 4th. Joshua Encarnacion and Remy Touchon have called only one match each. Brandon Stevis has called 2. So really, if you want to take out 3 of the first 5, you can, maybe 4 of the first 5. If you take out the first 4, let's put it that way. You take out the first 4 when it comes to most fouls called per match. Joshua Encarnacion has called one match, and he called 39 fouls. And Ricardo Fierro, who has called Atlanta United, is 2nd. He has 3 matches in the middle. He's 35 2/3. Brandon Stevis has called only 2 matches. He's 35 1/2. Remy Touchon has called 1 match. He called 33. If you take those out, those center refs of a regular rotation, Fotis Bazakas is 2nd in fouls called per match at 27.83. So he calls a lot of fouls by comparison to folks in Major League Soccer. Fouls per tackle, he is tied for 11th at 0.85. So then you go to penalties per match. He has called 3 pens this year so far, 3 in 6 matches. Yellows per match is 6th. And once again, you can take out 2 of those who are ahead of him who've only called the 1 match, Joshua Encarnacion and Remy Touchon. So Fotis Bazakas really is 4th in yellows per match at 4.83, which means that he is fairly high in the yellow card numbers themselves. He is tied for 7th, and that is legit, 7 and 8 center refs. And then we get into res per match and everything there. So you look at fouls per match, Fotis Bazakas really is 4th in Major League Soccer this year. So if you look at Fotis Bazakas, calls a lot of fouls, by comparison, gives a lot of yellows, averaging 4.83. So basically 5 yellows a match on 28 fouls. So be prepared for that when it comes to Fotis Bazakas and his reffing DNA so far in 2026. Let's go back a year. So let's go back a year and see if it was any different for Fotis Bazakas in the year 2025. No, I want ref stats. I don't want teams and scoreboards. So ref stats in 2025. Fotis Bazakas, if we go fouls per match. No, I don't want the playoffs. I want the regular season. It's like it's giving me 3s and 4s, and I'm like, no, it's not what I want. Ref stats. Ref stats throughout the season in 25. So Fotis Bazakas in fouls per match was way down. Fotis Bazakas last season was 26th out of 38 center refs. 26th out of 38 center refs at 23.43. Fouls per tackle, 0.77. Yellows per match, 3.71. So this year to date, comparing him to his 2025 statistics, Fotis Bazakas has called more fouls on average, is calling more fouls per average, and is giving more yellow cards on average. And his fouls per tackle is increased. So he's using his whistle more this year, and he's giving the yellow card more this year than he did last year. So that's what you get with Fotis Bazakas coming to the table for the matchup with Atlanta and for LAG this weekend. So that is what to stare at when it comes to Fotis Bazakas. So now that we know, we'll see if he sticks to type and does that here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Saturday night. And so it was great to catch up with Ramses Sandoval, find out what's going on with him. I pray that he had a good breakfast, because I imagine that his stomach is doing a bunch of butterflies right now, because he's there for his daughter, who's doing 7 different choreographies. That's crazy. And so after that, then he leaves the dance. He leaves his daughter's dance championships, and then he comes up here for La Previa with Miguel Gallardo and Michele Giannone, and that'll be up here as a part of everything that we see involving Atlanta United and LAG and Apple TV. So we've got that to keep an eye on as well. So great to catch up with Ramses Sandoval, and good to add him to the stacks and find out what's going on with anything and everything going on in his mind when it comes to Major League Soccer. We did get a bit of a preview with LAG and with Atlanta United. And it was really cool that he compared as a basketball guy, that he got to break out the Kobe Bryant analogy for Alexei Miranchuk and Thierry Henry. So very, very cool there to get that comparison of Alexei Miranchuk. So very, very cool stuff there. All right. So like I said, waiting on Nico Moreno and our friends from Pulso Sports to drop by and let you know what's going on in his universe out there on the West Coast, graciously letting everything slide a day and let everything going from there. So a couple of things that is going on right now overseas to get you ready for the weekend. David Moyes confirms Idrissa Gueye is going to miss the trip to Crystal Palace, missed the draw, unavailable. Jack Grealish, Jared Branthwaite, foot and hamstring injuries, also unavailable. Mbappe and Tchouaméni have joined Real Madrid training ahead of the Clásico. Mbappe had been sidelined for 2 weeks. Real said the striker was completed part of the group session 2 days before their trip to Barcelona. Tchouaméni took part in training after the altercation with Valverde resulted in the latter reportedly needing stitches and being diagnosed with what the team called basically a traumatic brain injury, a TBI. And so Valverde is going to be out for 10 to 14 days. Tchouaméni and Mbappe both at practice. Martin O'Neill senses the fear of losing their title fueling his players as he prepares to face Rangers with a fit Dyson Maeda. In form, has overcome a foot injury ahead of the derby, so Old Firm early Sunday morning. Keep an eye on that one. Also, let's see if there's anything else that's going on. Mikel Arteta is defending Arsenal's Champions League final celebrations. I mean, he dismisses criticism that Arsenal overdid it. Well, you won for the first time in 20 years. Crystal Palace may be celebrating reaching a first European final in their history. Oliver Glasner says they're still not safe in the Premier League. They beat Shakhtar Donetsk 5-2 in aggregate, getting the Conference League final date with Rayo Vallecano at the end of the month. So basically, it is focus on the task at hand. Alphonso Davies has injured his hamstring with just over a month to go before Canada co-hosts the World Cup. Bayern Munich released a statement on the injury saying Davies is expected to be out for several weeks. That was the terminology that they used. Canada start their campaign 12th of June against Bosnia-Herzegovina in Toronto. Hurt his left hamstring during the draw with PSG that knocked them out of the Champions League in the semifinals. 15 goals and 58 appearances so far. Liverpool are going to need a center back and a fullback and a Mo Salah replacement. And so it's another huge window of recruitment. Missing out on Mark Gahey is something that they're going to be keeping an eye on. Arne Slot was asked whether next season could be another transition campaign, given the likes of Salah and Robertson out. Club chose to spend big, bring in Isak, Florian Wirtz, and Hugo Ekitike. Arne Slot said, quote, "I'm only looking forward as I've looked forward to working with these players 2 years ago. It'll be another little transition, probably not as drastic as it was last summer, but we have to change some personnel with 2 players leaving. But my main aim at the moment is getting over the line for the upcoming 3 games and then going on holiday." He also revealed that Alexander Isak trained yesterday, and he could be involved for Liverpool against Chelsea tomorrow. Similar thing can be said for Georgi Mamadashvili. Alisson remains out. Mo Salah's diagnosis. Slot said Mo also hasn't trained with us yet, but is also getting very, very close to train with us. And when he was asked about how much Liverpool have underperformed this year, quote, "I think it always weighs heavy on the players if you lose more games than you want. Never a nice feeling to lose, especially at this club. Underperformance very clearly in the Premier League, but I think we deserve better results than we've been having." Then Ben Fisher, another piece on Michael Coyote and the long throw, so that might be required reading. Spurs women's team's managing director Andy Rogers leaving the club after 24 years working in various roles for the North London club. Bournemouth, and this was another piece of news that we had to get into this morning. Bournemouth have confirmed that defender Alex Jimenez will not be a part of their matchday squad for Saturday's game against Fulham amid an investigation into posts on social media. Club statement said the club is aware of posts that are circulating. Club understand the seriousness of the matter currently being investigated. As a result, Alex will not be included in the squad for the Premier League game against Fulham, and the club will be making no further comment at this time. They're going to investigate from here. So Pep Guardiola, in his press conference before we came on this morning, he said, playing at the Etihad on Saturday, Brentford visiting, Arsenal go to West Ham. Pep says, quote, "A long time since the last game was at 3 p.m. I love to be at home. Hopefully the fans can come. All we can do is put pressure on Arsenal in our games. 3 games left at the Etihad. Let's go for it. City can reduce the gap to 2 points with a win. Any drop points once again could prove fatal in the whole thing." When asked about Brentford in their season, he said it was so good. And Keith Andrews, he says it's not easy to replace Thomas Frank. So incredible season. It's clear what they do, and it's difficult to challenge them. And Andoni Iraola admitted European qualification for Bournemouth will be difficult, but knows his team are in a good place as they look to create history. Thomas Tuchel set to name his England squad for the World Cup on the 22nd, 2 weeks from today. And Fabian Hertzler signed his new 3-year deal with Brighton. And so he got to have his first press conference that is attached to that. Danny Roll says he's staying at Rangers despite rumors linking him with an exit. Title slipping away, 3 fixtures to go, 7 points behind Hearts, 4 behind Celtic, Old Firm on Sunday. So Danny Roll says that he is staying. And so that is the rundown of kind of the early news that is there and that is going on. All right, so getting into Premier League, we did mention the numbers and the separation that is there. Matches on the weekend. Liverpool and Chelsea batting leadoff. How's that? Liverpool and Chelsea batting leadoff tomorrow. Liverpool favored at home at a -120, draws a +300, and Chelsea is a +290. 10 o'clockers, Fulham at +179 is hosting Bournemouth at who's a +145, draws a +270. Brighton and Wolves, Brighton a -357, Wolves are a +1,000, draws a +525. Sunderland hosting Manchester United at a +309. Manchester United a -108, draws a +280. City and Brentford, your late game on Saturday at a -270. Brentford is a +650, and the draw is a +490. Sunday, 9 Eastern, Burnley, big underdog as Villa comes to visit at a -164. Burnley is a +549. Crystal Palace at a +179, a dog to Everton, who comes to visit Selhurst Park at a +165, draws a +229. Forest +170 after getting bounced in the semis. They get to host Newcastle, who is slightly favored at a +160, draws a +260. West Ham late, meaning 11:30 Sunday morning, +440 hosting Arsenal at a -161, draws a +330. Monday Night Football, Tottenham and Leeds. Spurs are a -118. Leeds a +309, so is the draw. Then you get into the makeup games. Then Wednesday, City hosting Palace at a -370. And then Friday Night Football, Villa and Liverpool. So that's your rundown of the Premier League. And remember, you've also got the promotion playoff first legs starting this weekend as well. So keep an eye out on all of that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that has been missed in any and all of me looking at this and not anything else. I'm ducking down, checking my phone. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. So it is Copa Libertadores last night, and let me see if Nino wants to get into this at 11 o'clock. So Copa in Chile, Independiente Rivadavia. Hockeyization of Soccer, Nino Damas, World Cup Chronicles. Okay, so we might get into it a little bit, but we will get into it in about 20, 25 minutes when, Torres comes to visit. Okay, time for rapid fire because he graciously is coming at us a day late because we were busy as you know what down at the National Training Center. So we ain't going to waste no time. Bringing in our boy, our friend Nico Moreno, hanging out with us. We're in the lid, repping the Palouse, my friend. It's a bit of a rapid fire this go around. Thanks for hopping in on a Friday since we were not here yesterday morning.
Hey, what's going on? No problem. Yes, we are running around today, Friday. It is unlike any other week at SDH, but you know what? As long as we get out here, we talk to the SDH family. I'm happy, and yes, we're repping the Wazoo because I will be picking up my son after he finished his first year of college at Wazoo. So we are excited.
Wow. All right. Wow. So next week when we come and talk back on Thursday, I need to find out what you think about his year one in the Palouse. So we got to get into that. All right. So I went over the juice boxes, but I didn't really go into any of the games because I knew that you were coming up here, and Nino's coming in after you. So the order kind of flipped this go around, and I tip my hat to both of you graciously. When you're looking at the matchups this weekend, you got Messi and friends who are angry, and they're leading off going to Toronto. You've got Charlotte and Cincinnati. You've got Dallas and RSL. Nashville, who loses in the midweek, and they got thumped, and they lose 2-0, so they have to come back, but they're at home, and D.C. is a crazy number. You've got Colorado at home, Portland at home, San Diego and Seattle, which is where we'll start, San Jose and Vancouver. LAFC is the caboose as Houston comes to town, but I want to start with you as Seattle and San Diego FC and what you think about that matchup coming up this weekend.
Look, it's going to be a great game here at Lumen Field. The team will be back after a frustrating 1-1 draw at Sporting Kansas City. I think that they're also angry. I think that this is a Sounders team that knows they should have done better. They're regardless of how the game played out and the possession that you had. The reality is that this Sounders team needs to be elite. When you're the superior team, you need to be able to kill those games off, which they could have, right? I mean, they had opportunities. I thought the Ferreira played excellent. So I do think that this team is going to come into this game knowing that they have to show that they are one of the best teams in the West. And at home, they have been great. They actually have now lost at Lumen Field since June of last season, all the way back to the Club World Cup. I think PSG is the last team that has beat the Sounders at home. So this is one that I would feel very comfortable to, depending on the numbers, maybe I'd be very comfortable putting some juice boxes on it. But the team looks good. Everybody's healthy with the exception of the more prolonged players. There was some unfortunate news about Yeimar. We thought that he was going to be able to come back prior to the World Cup break, but on KJR, Brian Smetzer mentioned that they looked at the MRI, they weren't comfortable with what they saw, and they were going to just hold him till after the World Cup. So the good thing there is that Alex Roldan has been phenomenal. You got Tino Lopez, and we'll see what happens with San Diego FC, right? This is a very there's going to be a lot of goals in this one. San Diego is a team that, although they've been on a free fall, and they're not the San Diego of old, they still have some really quality players in the attacking end. Now they're gappy and they're very open and they're easy to score on. If they haven't been able to really short down a defense. So this is going to be a good game for goals, in my opinion.
All right. So I've dialed it up and I am checking the totals here, sir. 2.5 a -175 along your point. 3.5 is where technically 3.25 is where it turns. 3.5 is a +140. Do you want me to go higher?
No, that's about as rich as I am going to get with that, and I'll take it. I really do want to take it, and there is a little bit of doubt because the Sounders have not been this offensive juggernaut, but I do think that against San Diego, with the way San Diego plays, I think you're going to once again see the dual tens of Albert Rusnak and Jesus Ferreira in the same lineup, starting with Jordan up top in this one. I really do think that we're going to go back to seeing my favorite lineup, not everyone's favorite lineup, but I think that you will see Paul Bartok on the left, Albert playing the 10, with Ferreira on the right wing playing that pocket winger, and Jordan Morris hopefully has a big game against a team that, as I said, has conceded a lot of goals. So it's going to be a interesting one, but I feel comfortable taking the Sounders and the 3.5.
Yeah, Sounders are a minus 137, so put that one over there. Take your total at over 3.5, and you're on the plus side.
Exactly.
All right, so Vancouver and San Jose, that is marquee. And San Jose is a dog at home at a plus 220. Vancouver favored on the road at a plus 125.
Yeah, that's a difficult one. No Niko Shakiris for San Jose. That's a big hole to fill for that team. In my opinion, no disrespect to Timo Werner, Niko Shakiris has been that team. Judd has been that team. The defense has been phenomenal. They struggled last week, and they have Roberts to thank with that sliding safe. That game didn't end up with a L on the record. But I will say that I think Vancouver is going to put them under a lot of duress. I think that Vancouver, seen in the way that they attack, and where they're able to pin back the opposition, I really do think that they are going to take this game. I think that this is going to be one of the few L's that San Jose will take over the start of this season. So only the Sounders have been able to do that. So I think that Vancouver, being the other Cascadia team, maybe they have a little bit of something to say about that. And I do feel like this is one of those games that without some pieces and a Vancouver team that also needs to show that they are that team, I think they might take this one.
Okay. Draw, just so everybody knows, is a plus 270 as well. So Vancouver, road favorite, plus 125. Draws a plus 270. San Jose is a plus 2.25. So that's another fun one there. What other matchups stick out to you this week? I mean, RSL on the road is a dog at Dallas, which I find really interesting.
I want to know the numbers on that one, because look, RSL is a team that, when we look at the power standings and we try to decipher what's going on, a lot of times we forget about just looking at the matchups and looking at the individual performances. And look, RSL is as dangerous as any team in the Western Conference, especially on the attacking end. I know that defensively, they could definitely up their game, but when I look at the fluidity of their attack and what Luna's been able to do, and Gozo just seems to be heating up and continue to heat up, and it's just a team that, to me, screams we can get back into any game. And they had a couple of so-so performances, but I do think that against FC Dallas, a team that, as I've said before, I'm not as high as other of my colleagues on, this is going to be an interesting one. So what are the numbers saying?
The numbers in this one are intriguing. RSL is a plus 200 on the road. They're a dog. FCD is a plus 120, and the draw is a plus 280.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Oof.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that draw does sound good. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, when you look at the youth that is there for RSL, I mean, it's Gozo and Luna, and it is Gilavogi coming in and catching
He's
his
been great.
And, Sergi Solons and Hezer Khani coming off from injury, who has been a big troublemaker. So, Olatunji, when he's healthy, you've got to prepare for a lot of different things for RSL. And legitimately at a plus 200 on the road at Dallas.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, no, I like it. To be honest, and again, the draw is tempting because FC Dallas has got a couple of those this season. I don't put a lot of stock in the game against Red Bulls. I think that kind of fell their way. And the Red Bulls are also very young, which we cannot compare with RSL, because there is a different type of experience that goes through with not just the players, but what Pablo can do. He's a guy that's going to set this team up correctly against Dallas. So, Man, I'll go with RSL. I'll go with RSL. I'm taking RSL. And what about the goals, Compos? Because the 3.5, I would not mind throwing some out there.
All right, so hang on just a second. I've got a follow-up question having to do with youngins, and I will ask that one. 3.5 is a plus 138, so you're on the plus side there too.
Yeah, I'll take it. Look, RSL can, when it comes to volume of play, they could really put it together. And Dallas, whether it's through set pieces or more direct play, they could also put it on you. So this is going to be one that very easily could go beyond that. So yeah, let's do that.
All right. One of the other teams this season that has been playing youngins is Red Bulls. And out of the blocks, we saw Julian Hall. We saw what Michael Bradley was doing. He coached them last year with Red Bulls 2, wins an MLS Next Pro Championship. So he brings them along, and you anticipate, okay, he knows these guys. He knows what they can do. They get off to that hot start. Now they've hit a bit of a wall, and they're now only at 12 points through 11 matches. They're at 3-5-3, and they're kind of gripping right now. People are already up in the tri-state in the Northeast. They're already calling for Michael Bradley's head. Exactly. And so the lack of patience and the dealing of the extremes, it's like, hey, we got young guys and they're doing great, so everything's great. Now all of a sudden you got these young guys and they're having to adjust to the second time through the batting order, and everybody's sitting there going, oh, they stink and Michael's got to go and all this kind of stuff. It's like Michael Bradley right now seems to be in that no-win Northeastern media situation that's going on.
Yeah, man, this is what's wrong with today's media at work. And no, let me rephrase it. This is what happened. This is what's wrong with certain individuals that have the ability to sit in front of a mic. This is what's wrong with, I don't know, the generation that there is just this necessity to be a prisoner of the moment, and you need to be hyperbolic about everything. And because you talk the loudest, you feel like you just discovered that water is wet and that there is such thing called fire. And let me tell you that you didn't discover it. I mean, it's literally a pandemic of this necessity to just create panic, and the sky's fallen, right? And you can look at what happened with LAFC and Toluca losing, and now let's just pack it up. Let's just cancel MLS season. We're no good. Let's just tear it down. See if Taffer can come in and fix it. Tell him shut it down. I mean, that is what happens with all of these things. So when it comes to the Red Bulls, I mean, you got to understand that when you are a young team, there's going to be ebbs and flows of the season. You got to give these kids time to deal with those ebbs and flows that they haven't dealt with. So you can't go from saying, look, oh, Manetti is the next Tyler Adams, and Hall is going to be the striker of the future for the U.S. men's national team, to it all sucks. Pack them up. Let's just, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, there's got to be some, not just patience, but there's got to be some coherent narrative going into this, right? And Bradley, he's also young in the coaching world, and you got to give him time. And regardless of the experience of a coach, I've said this 1,000 times, and people don't like it, especially in South America and Mexico, where they just love to fire coaches right and left. But you have to give a coach at least 3 years to see that soccer module go through. And I'm not saying that you got to hold off through a 10 winningless streak, or if the team is getting killed. And, you know, there's different conversations to have. But you should go into a project allowing a head coach to put his mark on the team. And that just doesn't happen that quickly. So to me, it's just nonsense. I think that this Red Bulls team was fun to see at the beginning of the season. I still love a lot of the young guys. I like Donker as well, 21, but he's still a very interesting player. Overall, the team, Rubalcaba, he's a guy that I'm watching as well. So you got all of this young talent, but you have to be able to see it through. So the Michael Bradley, let's get rid of him, that agenda is worthless. Put it with the tabloids at the mini mart or whatever. Just get rid of that. Just absolutely get rid of it.
Calmate. Just literally, just Just take a breath, and it's the battle of the extremes. It's like either everything is fantastic or it sucks, and there's no in between. There's no build. There's no context, and we're seeing that with Michael Bradley. I just had to bring that to the table. What other matches are you staring at this weekend?
I think those are the big ones. I was interested on that LAFC Houston Dynamo because there's going to be a lot of goals regardless. Obviously, LAFC coming in from a very disappointing game against Toluca. They're going to want to see it through. I expect Martinez to start this game since he didn't start at El Emesio. We know what we see from Houston, right? They're a team that they're going to want to exchange with you right in the middle of the ring. They're going to try to figure out if they could outbeat you. Inali's having phenomenal shots from outside of the 18, doing golazos, but you can't necessarily see it through in the results all the time. So to me, lots of goals in this one, man. I would say that I'd be willing to go over the 4.5 mark. Like that. That's how I'd be willing to go with this one. I think it's going to be a big game for LAFC in general. So yeah, what are the numbers on that one?
3.5 is plus 163 to give you an idea. So I'm building up.
Okay.
4.5 is a plus 400.
Okay, that's too much. Yeah, let's. Yeah, that seems like a trap there. So 3.5 is good. 3.5 is good. Yeah, let's reel it in. See, I got all hyped up. I got all excited. You know, I'm
Back to
losing my calmness.
nothing. Since you mentioned LAFC, I want to ask a question about LAFC and Nashville for a second. So you have two teams, and once again, this goes into the battle of the extremes, where two teams show very well how their investments, which have gone in different directions, got them to the semifinals of the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza. But because they didn't win in their two-legged semis against Toluca and Tigres, obviously, and this is and I'm not even going to give the author credit, but I will paraphrase the saying that Major League Soccer isn't treating CONCACAF as a serious competition because they've only won once out of the last 24, I think, or one out of the last 25. They're not treating the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza seriously enough because they're not winning the thing and they're not advancing past certain stages. I thought that the statement itself was ludicrous, but you have teams in Major League Soccer getting to this stage. You have Nashville doing what they did to get to this stage and to this point of the tournament, yet some folks are still disenchanted that Major League Soccer is not taking it seriously with LAFC and Nashville not making it to the final.
If we want to get technical about this, there are still some circumstances that might feel like cope, but they are circumstances that, they're not excuses.
Yeah.
I think that when the calendar of MLS changes, that's gonna give this a lot more of a balance, and I think that you might see teams more prepared for this particular tournament. So I think that's part of it. I do believe that there's clearly, and again, even the indication that teams are not taking this seriously is laughable. It's comical, as a lot of takes out there on socials are, and there is that passion that you saw from a guy like Mark Dos Santos screaming at the top of his lungs that maybe if you wanted to really get technical with it, maybe moving the calendar to allow these teams to come in a lot fresher into this types of tournaments is something that should be done. That's totally fair. And there's still what everyone has been screaming about over the last couple of days, because all of a sudden MLS is inferior to Liga MX because they need to open up the strengths of the salary cap and the system and all this stuff, which is, again, it drives me crazy because you knew that coming in, right? I mean, we all know the deficiencies of MLS and we know how we can get better, but you don't need to sound dumb by just saying, oh, now that LAFC lost and Nashville lost, now it's we must do it now. Like, look, that had been a problem, but those games. So if LAFC would have won, then we don't need to change anything. Is that where we're going? Is that how little bit of foresight we have? Are we that short sighted? I absolutely hate it, right? So to me, it is about a lot of things. There's got to be a lot of more experience from MLS teams playing in Mexico. It is no coincidence that MLS teams have a hard time playing in Mexico. It happens. You got to build that and you got to figure that out. And those things are coming. And yes, you do have to get more talent in the league and you got to have a lot more spending. But when you look at the circumstantial moments in those games, it drives me crazy that we go to this sort of rationale because the players that failed LAFC in Toluca were your top players. And now we're blaming the league. We're blaming Mark Dos Santos. Is Mark Dos Santos supposed to go and show Denny Buanga how to chip a goalkeeper in a big pressure moment because you can't be clinical? No, he can't. Does Mark Dos Santos need to go show Tillman how to not miss a wide open net from a rebound? No. Is he supposed to show a team that a guy like Hollingston, who is supposed to be one of your more experienced guys, your more safe picks, that guy that you're going to rely on to not make a dumb mistake inside the 18 because there's no field awareness and you create the penalty that starts the descent of your team? No. So let's look at things for what they are. And all the time we like to go for the head coach, and sometimes people have agendas and it's like, I knew the Mark Dos Santos was a fraud and all this thing. Just shut up. Just shut it. I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. This was a game that the players lost on the field, and as simple as that, execution was poor. If you go back at all the goals, you could pinpoint exactly those moments where players just let off the gas. They had no idea what was going on. They didn't have the temperament, and that's on the players. That's on Denny Buanga. That's on Sonny. Sonny had a bad game, and it's okay to say that. It's all right to put that on Sonny because he is supposed to be your guy. So when those guys don't show up, they also deserve some accountability, man.
Yep. All right. So what's going on at the Providence and Swedish 5-minute oil change and tire rotation?
Yeah, we will be there in just a couple of hours. We're going to see how the team is setting up. We'll talk to Brian Smetzer. It's like I said, it's going to be a fun game against San Diego. We're going to be talking a little bit about some of those injuries and how the team is going to be setting up for this one. But particularly, I think that if you want to check out a lot of the things that we kind of gathered throughout the week, go ahead and check out Pulso Sports in our channel. We have a lot of fun interviews, including one with Andrew Thomas, where we ask him about MLS All-Star. I know I'm early, but I'm already campaigning my guy so he can get in those votes. So if you're seeing it, he leads. He's second, tied for second in clean sheets. He leads the league on save percentage. So Andrew Thomas for MLS All-Star. That's going to be my big pitch. And then, of course, we have what we learned this week with Jeremiah Oshan. We're going to be in studio. We're going to break down the game that's going to be against San Diego. And then on Monday with Ari in Love and Coach Kickoff, we'll break down the weekend out west. I know that you're getting ready to kick me out. I'm going to get the hook here, my man John. So I appreciate you, man. You are the man. And thank you for having me.
As always, my brother, great to see you. Love you very much. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
All right, there goes Nico Moreno. So hot tag. We've inverted the show. Now we go to Lima, Peru. Now we find out what's going on with our friend Nino Torres. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Welcome to Fully Loaded Added Time version. What's going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yellow, yellow, yellow soccer down here, fans. On a Friday. It's a Friday edition of Fully Loaded. Absolutely crazy weekend for me. It's Mother's Day and probably the busiest weekend of the year for us Bakers. So we've been kicking up for some 5 a.m. Yeah, I've been Been up since 5, brother. Since 5 a.m. and I got 3 down. I got 5 more to go today, and another. This is a crazy weekend, man.
Yeah, we
I
will not.
got 15 orders for Mother's Day, man. 15.
Good, absolutely excellent. Okay, I know you've got your list, but I wanted to lead off with what we were seeing last night in the Copas, and the stupidity that was attached to it. A couple of matches had some fog that was man-made, and I don't mean that in a good way. It was in one of the late games, and I want to get into the early game, which was beyond the chaos. It was Junior and Cerro Porteño. You couldn't see what was going on, and so they basically they went through the halftime. They basically just ran the halftime clock, because that's how long it took the smoke to clear from Junior and Cerro Porteño. They basically just turned it into like one gigantic game. And then, not to be outdone, Independiente Medellin and Flamengo was abandoned because of crowd disturbances. Home fans lighting flares, throwing objects on the pitch shortly after kickoff at Medellin's at the Atanasio in Medellin. Goalless after 5 minutes. Referee orders the players to return to the changing room. Stadium evacuated. Fans start throwing flares. One of them lands practically inside Agustin Rossi's goal. Then they start throwing more, and then the team's equipment was hit. The backpack of an ESPN cameraman was struck by a flare, and it burned a hole in it. And there's social media posts of that backpack that got absolutely singed beyond. Lily Nascimento, who was there for the 4-letter, when the chaos started, crowd began to approach, looked like they were going to invade the pitch. Already a moment of panic. So then CONMEBOL called off the Group A match. Home fans were protesting against the club management after the team's home defeat to Aguilas Doradas saw the team finish 10th in the domestic competitions. The Ultras had a banner at the stadium yesterday saying executives and players, traitors. Flamengo goes back to Brazil to prepare for their league match against Grêmio, hoping CONMEBOL is going to award them the win. There's precedent because of what happened last year, and sadly, we had to talk about that on the air last year. So it was just it went sideways, and it was just stupid last night. And Teisei was there to cover, a lot of it and everything. But yeah, we had our moments of stupid, but it didn't get any more stupid than Independiente Medellin and Flamengo in Copa Libertadores last night.
And the referee Valenzuela, he just took the right he took the right decision. He took the right decision, man. Things like this happen. We just can't continue with the game, and we suspended the game. The game was canceled, and most likely Flamengo will be awarded with the points. That's what usually happens in this kind of situations when the home team the host the event can't control the people, right? We just came from that, brother. We just came from that issue with Independiente and Universidad de Chile, right? When the authorities decided to put in the away fans in a section that it doesn't matter, because also the Chileans, they destroyed the bathrooms of the stadium. And where are we now? I mean, this is not acceptable, fans. I mean, these are not fans, all right? This is vandalism, right? This is vandalism, and the worst part is that the true fans, that they go into the stadium, that they're going to enjoy themselves, they're going to enjoy watching their team winning or losing, whatever happens on the pitch. The true fans are most likely the ones that are going to pay the price. Because what's going to happen next in the next game? All right, you're replaying with no fans. I just said it, right? So out of the 50,000 people, because of I don't know how many, 2,000 made the disturbance, the disturbance here. Yeah. What about the other 40 plus people, 40K plus people that they went to the stadium with a true intention to enjoy the show, right? To show their passion in the right way. What about those people? They're gonna pay the price. They're gonna pay the price
Mhm.
because of this.
Mhm.
I don't know how to call it, man.
It's stupidity, is what it is. I mean,
Stupidity. It's just,
that's the easy way.
you
That
know.
way, we don't get in trouble by saying something else. It's stupidity,
Hmm.
and so that was what I wanted to start with, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, considering what happened last
and
year.
and, and you, even though I was against the CONMEBOL ruling against the fireworks, because it's beautiful when you see the spectacle on the show, putting up in the skies, everything. But I think we're gonna come to a decision where the only fireworks allowed at the stadium are the ones provided by the teams. All right, we're gonna take care of it. You don't have to bring anything. All right, don't bring any single player. Don't bring a cigarette. Don't bring a light. Nothing. We'll take care of it. All right, we're gonna do it professionally on the top of the stadium. Everything's gonna look fantastic, and then the fog is not gonna come down because it's gonna be on the top. And you can handle this professionally. Yeah, let the professionals do the work and not just go ahead and buy whatever you want on right outside the stadium and then just throw it at the pitch. It doesn't work like that. All right. So this is the only thing that I think is going to come this to it, or the opposite. The hardship, the hard part is the ruling will be no fireworks at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that could be the wise decision, but also could be the harsh decision on this one. So most likely, Coleman was going to go for a harsh way. I'm telling you that we're not going to see any more fireworks in CONMEBOL, probably, most likely.
Last night, I know you were kind of busy, and I was as I was watching what was going on with Independiente Medellin and with what was going on there in that match with Flamengo. I was casually watching your match, and I saw 1-0, and then I saw 2-1. So off the pitch drama carries on. Universitario and another disappointing Copa night in Chile, sir. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So the week this started well, right? Because last Friday, the Franco Velasco, the administrator of Universitario Deportes, he exposed the private negotiation terms between Universitario and Jorge Fossati last December, right? He said, no, you know what? This is why we didn't renew his contract. He wanted us to double his salary. He won first class tickets. He wanted a high value car, and he wanted, I don't know, he wanted to be part of the marketing and commercial decisions for the team. I was like, the guys, I was looking at the press conference, right? And is he really saying this? Do you think that we're going to believe that a 75-year-old coach wants to be involved in the marketing decisions? And so you want us to believe that? No way. No way. Someone's in another show, right? They were asking me, so Nino, basically, you don't believe it. I don't believe anything that he says, anything, because this is what's going to happen, right? Fossati is going to come down, and it's going to be a press conference. He's going to say the truth. He's not. That's exactly what happened on Monday. Monday in Uruguay, where Jorge Fossati, he is already the coach of Liverpool in Uruguay. I think, what? Marketing? What? I barely can use my phone, brother. I could barely use my phone. Yeah. Okay. My phone doesn't even have, I don't even have Facebook. Okay. So that's one part, right? And then we didn't ask for double the salary. No. We just asked for an increase. We just became we won the three-peat. And out of those three titles, I won 2. All right. So I wanted an increase. I wanted a raise. I didn't ask for double. No. Oh, you want to about the cars? No. Brother, we got a contract. We got a sponsor. It's a car. It's a brand that sponsor Universitario. I just wanted an upgrade, a bigger car. An SUV. Like just want an SUV. Well, he had an accident going down training camp. He was in a smaller car. You know what? I won't stop you. I want to be safer. That's it. The guy's 75, brother. The guy's 75. So
See, this is what happens when he starts.
Universidad de Deportes,
Because
the private negotiation.
see, he starts. Oh, he started talking about Universitario, and then they came in here. They got after him. He said the magic words. He said the magic words, and they got mad. They invaded. That's what happened. You were starting to say things, and I think Universitario. I think they tried to invade, and they got in between.
Yeah, the hackers of Universidad de Deportes.
Yep.
Yeah, you can hack me whatever you want, guys. So in the end, and like he said, Velasco said, we are looking for a new coach, and but they fired the technical director who said the coach was Araujo, the current interim coach. He's our coach. And then he said, no, he's not our coach. We already talked to him that he was looking for a coach. So I was like, okay, so whatever. Boom, went to Chile. Disastrous. This disastrous night, man. We were chasing the ball all night long. Why? Because he decided to put the same player that they're not performing for the last 6 months. Oreja Flores, Andy Polo, Corso. I mean, I get it. They're the tri-champions, right? Just let them be. Just let them. And you got on the bench. You got Alzugarayo on the bench. You got Fertol on the bench. And then you wait until the 75th minute to make a substitution. So if you're a coach, and plus you have the 2 water breaks, right? You get the 2 water breaks to figure it out. Oh, listen, 20 minutes into the second half. Yeah, I think we were doing this bad. Like, you want to jump on the pitch? Yeah, let's do that. Bro, you got 1, 2, 3 opportunities before the 75th minute. 3. And you use any of them. That's to be a coach of Universidad de Deportes, especially in Copa. In Copa, the Copa doesn't give you, the a gap, or doesn't give you any space for error. There's the margin for error in the Copa Libertadores is just marginal. It's marginal, and he doesn't understand that. Yeah, I get it. We beat Nacional 4-2, but they were playing with a man down for like 60 minutes. So you got to remember that too. And then Nacional got trashed by Tolima. Tolima, my God, we were lucky to get 1 point out of Tolima when we went there. So, and now the thing is, Tolima and Coquimbo Unido, they're gonna play against each other. They're the leaders. They both got, if they draw, they got 8 points each, and they leave Universitario and Nacional. Universitario has to win the next 2 games now in order to dream of qualifying. No, the good part is that we might advance, we might stay in the Copa, not in this one, but in the Sudamericana, by reaching 3rd place. So yeah, I think we most likely that's the scenario that we're gonna face. We're gonna be going into the Copa Sudamericana. I don't see Nacional putting like 3-4 goals on Universitario. I don't think it's gonna happen. Probably they win. Probably they draw, I don't know, but I don't think the distance between Nacional and Universitario is that wide. And they're in trouble. They're anxious. They got trashed by Tolima. Tolima. I'm really surprised about the level of execution that those guys have. Man. I was like, we are so lucky that these guys that were not on against us in that night. Because then when they're on, they're the best team in the group.
You mentioned Libertadores, and you're talking about Independiente Rivadavia. You think they could win it?
Who's the leader of the torneo of the Liga Argentina right now?
Okay.
Who's the best team in Argentina in the Super League Argentina right now? Independiente Rivadavia. Who is the winner of the Copa Argentina last year? Independiente Rivadavia. Who is the team that destroyed, manhandled, make look Fluminense? Not any just Timbuktu FC. No, Fluminense. Okay. They just manhandled Fluminense. I was watching that game. So what's all the hype about this team? You know,
Mhm.
because when you listen to the Argentines, you gotta be careful, right? You gotta tone it down a little bit when they say we are this and that. Yeah, take it down a couple of notches because they're talking about Franco Colapinto being the best driver ever in the history of whatever. He barely gets P1, P14, P13 in the F1. But anyway, so I sat down specifically to watch an entire game of Independiente Rivadavia, and I was really impressed. I
Okay.
was really impressed. The verticality, the variety of options that they show, and but most of it is the how solid is the structure of this team. It's a team that doesn't give you any room. You know, oh, I can slide in. No, you can't. I'm gonna go. No, I already know that. So you're gonna go this way. Got it, brother. I got you. I'm 2 steps ahead of you, and I'm doing that against Fluminense, which, by the way, is most likely is gonna be the only Brazilian team not qualifying to the next round in the Copa Libertadores. We already got Corinthians, we got Flamengo. Palmeiras is going to qualify. Mirasol, number 1, 2. And we'll see. What else? We got 4. This is 5 teams. It's Palmeiras, Flamengo, Corinthians, Cruzeiro. Cruzeiro also is going to be there. So you got all those teams going into the knockout stage, except for Fluminense. But Corinthians, the only 2 teams that are undefeated are Corinthians and Independiente Rivadavia.
Yeah, because I didn't know. I mean, because they were struggling at the bottom of the table last year, and in my casual viewing of the LPF,
take a look at the lead now, man.
10-4-2, and they've turned it around. And I mean, they're 5 points clear of River Plate right now, and River Plate's lost 2 of their last 3, so that's crazy. I did not know that they were this that they had turned this around to that point. Okay, now I'm gonna have to watch even further. Stop with the hockeyization of soccer. Stop it, FIFA. Stop it with 3 exclamation points.
Please stop it. What's going on with the 5 seconds to leave the pitch? If I don't leave the pitch, I'm gonna penalize. And you got 10 seconds here, 5 seconds there. So what's next, Johnny? Are we gonna get the blue card too?
Yeah.
We're getting the blue card.
Yeah.
So if this is the case, let him fight. Oh, just let him fight. That's next. I mean, that's what I'm expecting next. You're gonna let him fight, and then just you want some gloves or something? No. This is too much, Johnny. Now we got the 2 water breaks. We got the 5 seconds here. We got the 10 seconds there, and this is too much now. And what's going to happen is because there are too many add-ons to the rules that we're going to see mistakes because it's not like all right, we're going to take place this year and then we're gonna test it first, right? That's what usually happens. You test it on the under 20, under 17 tournaments, but you just decide to do this right now with like 50 days to the World Cup.
35.
Well,
yeah.
Why now? Why you couldn't wait?
No.
You couldn't wait after the World Cup?
No.
And excuse me, but the substitution rule, I think it's 10 seconds, right? I think it's 10 seconds, Johnny, right? 10 seconds now, right? So what about me injured? Right, so I'm limping, right? I'm limping. No, bro, you're going too slow.
That's where you've got to have a center ref who can read the room. He can take that rule book and he can kind of go like this a little bit, understanding the situation. I mean, there have been some in lower divisions here in the States where they're basically telling the physio and another nearby player, get him off because the clock is running. But if you do it in a reasonable period of time, I mean, you ought to be able to sit there and take the rule book and go, look, the man's limping. Right. Give him a little bit of time because the rule book needs to be like this and understand context a little bit within the laws of the game. So, I mean,
and now lately you've seen the refs like rushing the player, just scoring the player out. Why are you scoring the player out? Just stay there, brother. He's gonna leave. Just let him be. Let him go. Why you got to score the player? That's something that I don't get. Really, I don't get. So, but I guess now it's gonna make sense. Who knows? But I'm so fed up with these substitutions, changes, and cards, and way too much, man.
When we got to go to Nino Damas and find out why he was right. PSG, the PSG edition of our Champions League, when Nino Damas was right. We need to get you a hat.
You should. You should, because last year, and you can go into the archive, you can go through the recordings. Nino Damus said, "Welcome to the PSG era. I totally see PSG winning not one, but two, but three next Champions Leagues." All right. They got one down. I said this after they won. Remember I said that welcome to the PSG era. That's some, actually I can look it up, and not right now, but I'm gonna send it to you next week. I'm gonna say, hey, welcome to the PSG era. That on the topics that I send you, I'm gonna look for it, and I'm gonna send it to you guys next week, because I cannot look for it right now. There's way too many. But it's the truth. This is the era of PSG. So I was doing the podcast the other day, and I was saying, PSG is going to win this one. But but you know what? Bayern beat in the head-to-head. Bayern has more wins against PSG than they do. Right, that's right. But there's one caveat here, one small and giant caveat at the same time. All those wins by Bayern, it was before Luis Enrique got rid of Mbappe. It was before they won the first Champions League. It was before, the team was acting collectively as a team and not playing for an individual. So, but once you get off your chest, get off your shoulders, all the pressure of we gotta win this Copa, we gotta win the Champions League. And you got a guy that spends I don't know how many billions already on that team.
11 billion.
Right, so it's just ridiculous how much money did he spend on this. But now we got one. Okay, we're going to the next one. The next one is ours, and that it's a different attitude. I'm not saying that PSG is looking over the shoulder of their opponents, but their confidence and Luis Enrique. I mean, he's underrated.
He's a bad man. Luis
He
is a bad man, and I love it.
And he this is the guy that doesn't hesitate to take decisions. He goes for it, he analyzes, and he executes it. That's it. And he's leading. Everybody talks about Pep Guardiola and all his I promise I get it. Yeah, Pep is one of the soccer gurus, of one of the genius of our era. But Luis Enrique, he is the what's the word for this? The not the leader, but the pioneer of soccer, bringing, modernizing the game without the hockeyization, right? He's just modernizing the game. He's taking pieces out of another sports like the NFL. Right, they're not going to the stands, watching the games from the top, getting the analysts from different positions, kind of like including pieces from American football that can make this sport better. He's doing it right. He's adapting it right. He's not forcing anything. He's adding these pieces, and he is actually making the team play better. Than anyone else.
Last thing, because I know you're busy for Mother's Day, and I do not want to keep you from your appointed rounds, because it is important that everyone have full stomachs and enjoy their tres leches. It is time for World Cup Chronicles. 1978, Tarantini, the protagonist of the two most viral pictures, The Soul Hug and The Handshake. Please explain yourself, sir.
Have you seen The Soul Hug? Have you seen it? No.
Mm-mm.
Look, when I'm talking, look it up. And Soul Hog, final 1978 finals.
Okay.
So after Argentina wins the Copa, there is a glorious picture. It's just awesome, because it's Fiol and Tarantini both on the ground, underneath, hugging each other. And there is this guy with a sweater join the hug, but the guy has no arms.
Huh.
No arms. Double amputee. You're looking at the picture?
Yeah, I've found it here. Hang on just a
You
second.
found it?
The embrace of the soul. Yeah.
Yeah, the embrace of the soul.
Mhm.
It's just absolutely beautiful. One of the most poetic pictures ever taken by the great Ricardo Alfieri. By the way, Ricardo Alfieri, the photographer who took the picture, got his son also working on a graphico. Both work on a graphico. And when he passed away, his son, Ricardo Alfieri Jr., took over the chief of photography for the El Gráfico magazine, which is, by the way, the Bible for us South Americans when got into journalism. But that's one picture. The other picture is right after that 1978 the World Cup has way too many chronicles. We can actually do one series of the chronicles for a year from that 1978 World Cup because there was just too much controversy. It was just unreal. So the other picture is Jorge Videla, the dictator of that year, entering the locker room after Argentina beat Peru 6-0, and that when they needed to score 4 and they scored 6 and Peru didn't score. Yeah, okay. But right next to Tarantini is shaking hands with Videla, and Pasarella's right next to him, right, sitting on the look. Google the picture when I'm doing this. Tarantini handshake Videla.
Okay.
And he's sitting down right next to Tarantini. And he's shaking and smiling, right? Tarantini's shaking. This is a sarcastic smile, but shaking hands with the dictator. And but before that, the story is before that handshake. Tarantini sees Videla entering the locker room, and he bets Pasarela $1,000. Look, I'm gonna be $1,000. I'm gonna rub my hands on my underparts, and then I'm gonna handshake with him. Just watch me.
Ew.
So he did that, and then that's why you're seeing the smile on his face, shaking hands with the dictator. And then after years after that, Pasela kind of like say, no, it wasn't like that. It didn't happen like that. But this is the thing. Why Pasarela did say that? Because then again, there's some people that you believe, some people that you don't. Pasarela is the same guy who asked Hernan Crespo if he got a spare 200,000 if he wants to play for River Plate. His return. Hey, yeah, you want to come back? Yeah, I want to come back. Hey, you got a couple of 200 grand and to to help us out with the players here. No, this is the same guy that asked Gabriel Batistuta and Claudio Canilla to cut their hair, and he cut off the team Claudio Canilla in '98 because he didn't cut his hair. So who do you believe, Johnny? I'm gonna leave it like that. I believe Tarantini, 100%, brother.
Man, that I'm going to be fishing for photos. All right, so how many orders do you have for Mother's Day?
I got 15, man.
Nice. That's good though. I like
15. I'll be baking all weekend long, brother.
Well, as always, my friend, glad that you could catch this, take a break with us, get us all locked in for the weekend. We love you very much. May everything rise at the temperature and the height and the depth that it is supposed to. May everything be the proper color and the proper shade. May everyone gain 5 to 10 pounds from just staring at your food as we always do. And we will catch up with you in 6 days, like I said, because we were at the training center yesterday for the big ribbon cutting of that thing. Glad you could join us today. Go get your lunch, go get your brunch, go get to cooking, and follow Nina the Baker on Instagram, and we can follow the progress of all of this. We love you very much, my friend. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, Johnny. Take care, guys. Appreciate it.
There we go. Nino Torres from Fubo TV, where we went World Cup Chronicles and everything. All right, we're going to be back here in 25 minutes to talk high school. It is Kelly Bowler, Johns Creek. It is Alex Zimmerman from East Hall. It is Rob Brunel from Irwin County now joining us at 12:30. And then it is Islands joining us at 1 o'clock. We're going along with that too, because it's a Friday. We got to get ready for the weekend. Thanks to Nino Torres. Thanks to Nico Moreno. Thanks to Ramses Sandoval. Thanks to Michael Parkhurst. Thanks to all of y'all for hanging out with us. We went long. and it was worth it. So be back here in 25 minutes to talk high school. Last day of the semifinals, boys side. We'll talk all the girls semifinals from yesterday, talk boys today, get you set up, got guests all over the place, and we will see you in just a little bit. Because it is the end of the week, that means one thing is that we have to end the week one way and one way only. And when I can find it, we will definitely play it because it has been one of those weeks. Thanks to all of the guests and thanks to all of you who've been a part of things. David, Abby, Pars, Dell, all of you who were on the Twitch pitch. Ricky is in this morning. Like I said, Pars is in this morning. And really quickly, let me see if there was anybody that I missed. David, good morning as always. And Lokeville, good morning. Oh, second class honeycomb TZJ. We got you. Morning, Sharif. Glad you're in this morning. So let's see. Abby and Ricky and Pars with the new gig. Congratulations on that. Okay. Since it is the end of the week, we end the week the only way we do. Here's how. Like I said, we'll be back in 24 minutes.
The war was on. The keys on the typewriter had sharp points that kept sticking into our fingers. The dictating equipment started asking us questions, and our beepers sent electric shocks just through our body like a cattle prod. Out in the warehouse, the trucks kept banging into the docks, not even thinking about stopping. Oh, our frail bodies were strapped to the chairs, and our chairs were chained to the desks. Our pleas for justice were ignored, and the end seemed near. But we busted our slave drivers' little bitty balls. We've charged out of their brick fortress. The streets are